This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Showers clearing in 16 with the 6 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Complete windscreen supply and fit, front, rear and door glass. Proudly South Australian since 1976.
The Royal Show will be impacted by the next tram strike. Mel Usher has details.
The tram network will grind to a halt again on Wednesday. Drivers from Torrens Connect will walk off the job as part of their ongoing push for better pay and conditions. The industrial action is scheduled between 3:50pm and 6:50pm. However, tram services may be impacted from as early as 3:30. Normal services are expected to resume from 7:30pm. All tram lines will be impacted, including services both to and from Glenelg and the Entertainment Centre, as well as through the CBD. Limited substitute buses will be running.
And teachers are set to walk off the job again as soon as next week. A ring has been put around Friday, September the 15th. A business at Alberton has been destroyed by fire overnight. Emergency crews were called to Sign Lab on Port Road just after 9pm. Former Port Adelaide Mayor Gary Johansson says it's been gutted.
They do wonderful work down there, particularly on cars and boats and things, and so sad to see such a big, business and employs lots of people and caters so much for people wanting sign work done. It's just total devastation.
Fire cause investigators will return to the scene this morning to determine the cause. Philip Lowe will preside over his last Reserve Bank board meeting today, with interest rates likely to stay on hold. More from Michael Packy.
Dr Lowe has worked at the RBA for more than 40 years. He's been in charge of the organisation for the last 7, but his tenure hasn't been without setbacks, pumping billions of dollars into the economy at the height of COVID, which helped push up inflation, and subsequently interest rates have increased 12 times over the past 15 months. Dr Lowe will chair his last Reserve Bank board meeting today and then hand over the reins to his deputy, Michelle Bullock, who's been tasked with overhauling the central bank.
Those contemplating a new home build are paring back their great Australian dream. The nation's biggest builder says home buyers are giving up on pricey double-storey builds and luxuries like marble bench tops to help reduce construction costs. A 14-year-old Victorian boy has suffered life-threatening injuries after falling out of a moving car in Melbourne's southeast. He was allegedly forced into the dark grey Volkswagen, stabbed, robbed and thrown out of the vehicle. Officers are searching for his attackers. At least 3 people have died after heavy rain lashed Spain, triggering flash flooding. More from Edward Godfrey.
Following a summer spent dealing with record heat and wildfires, Spain is now facing another crisis. A huge amount of rainfall has caused extreme flooding from the centre of the country all the way out to the coast. Sadly, 3 people have been confirmed dead and many are unaccounted for. The government says some parts have received more than 200 litres of rain per square metre in a 24-hour period. One area among the worst hit is Toledo, south of the capital, Madrid. Rescuers have been busy digging away at cars buried by mud, fast-flowing torrents washing everything away, in some cases the roads themselves. Fortunately, the worst of the rain has passed, but a huge clean-up is now underway as rescue teams continue looking for missing residents.
And Australia is facing one of the greatest losses of biodiversity due to invasive species. The UN has found we have the second largest number of endemic species after Indonesia. Pests are costing $600 billion worldwide. Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Check out Gliderroll Garage Doors' new Timber Look Native Series sectional doors. Gliderroll.com.au.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Kendall. Let's start with footy. Port Adelaide will hit the training track again this morning as the club looks to keep a close eye on several key players as it prepares for Saturday night's qualifying final against Brisbane. One of them is Charlie Dixon, who's re-signed with the club, meaning he'll play on in 2024. Meantime, Melbourne defender Christian Salem says they're going into the finals with confidence after a successful back end of the season. Salem telling Wide World of Sports over the past year they've tinkered with a few things to help improve their game.
It's sort of starting to finally click over the last few weeks, but we're most pleased about fighting out games. We've been down in quite a few games and being able to claw our way back and get some good wins. It's very pleasing.
And the 4 remaining SANFL coaches for the season will assemble at Adelaide Oval this morning as they prepare for this weekend's matches. Glenelg will take on the Crows for a spot in the grand final, while Sturt will take on Central in the other semi. Let's go to tennis. Aussie Alex de Minaur is preparing to take on third seed Daniil Medvedev in the fourth round of the US Open. This is the first time they've met at one of the four majors. Craig Gabriel saying they're well matched for this morning's five-setter.
They've played 6 times. The head-to-head is 4-2 in Medvedev's favour, but Alex has won the last 2 that they've played.
Elsewhere, Andrei Rublev has just beaten Jack Draper in 4 sets to advance to the quarterfinals. Number 1 seed Carlos Alcaraz also had a win, but number 1 seed Iga Swiatek lost in 3 sets on the women's side to Yelena Ostapenko. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
Showers clearing today, a high of 16. Tomorrow, sunny, up to 24. Then showers returning on Thursday, 14. And Friday, partly cloudy, 15. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Maxima, offering employment and disability support services. Break down the barriers of NDIS. Go to maxima.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
7 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Tuesday. It's the 5th of September. We are back in the studio after spending the morning yesterday at the Royal Show. You can still catch Pants and Jade down there from later today and indeed all this week. We've got show tickets to give away on the program this morning. If you're looking to get along, you haven't booked your family pass yet, 2 opportunities for you to win that over the course of the day. We're going to be chatting with Professor Mark Howden before 7 o'clock this morning. We may have been calling this upcoming weather system El Nino a little too early. We may have been a little soon to say that El Nino is here or beginning to affect things, because the scientists are suggesting that that's not quite yet the case. But Professor Howden will explain before 7 o'clock today. Phil Curry will join us after 7:30. We'll talk federal politics with Phil. It is Reserve Bank Day today. Philip Lowe's final ever meeting that he will preside over takes place today. Phil has been as good as any at predicting the movements of the RBA, so we'll ask him for his thoughts at 7:30 today. Then a little bit later in the morning, we're going to chat with the wonderful people at who organise the City Bay and their friends at CMI Toyota, because we will be giving away a car on the program. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. Yeah, last Reserve Bank meeting to be headed up by Philip Lowe. Hopefully this is the least interesting news story of the day. A nothing happens story is what we're after there. He doesn't want to round it out with a unlucky 13, lucky for some, rates increase. And hopefully he ignores the advice of Neil Young, namely that it's better to burn out than to fade away. I don't think Philip Lowe's a Neil Young guy. I don't think he's got any crazy...
Who do you think Philip Lowe listens to?
Best of the Eagles.
Like Hotel California
yeah,
type
something
stuff.
like that. That's not a knock on the Eagles either. But
I think it is a knock on the Eagles.
Well, it is
I
actually.
think it's a direct attack on the Eagles.
There's nothing wrong with having the best of the Eagles. But I don't know. It just feels like if you got the best of the Eagles, you probably haven't got many other CDs. It's just... That's just music. Let's put that on.
It'll be interesting today. I think you're right. It won't be interesting in the headline news sense because, in all likelihood, it looks like rates will be on hold. The statement...
Well, didn't inflation go down the other day?
It went down the other day, but then there was a marker of monthly inflation that came out yesterday that suggested it ticked back up again. So, as with all this kind of stuff, you can go on The Economist's Choose Your Own Adventure journey, and if you're the kind of person who thinks that they never went hard enough, you could make the argument they're going to go hard. They need to go harder now. And if you're the kind of person who thinks that they went too hard and they've stuffed the economy, you can say, well, look at what corporate profits are doing, look at what consumer confidence is doing, look at stuff like that, and you could say they go down. So the reality is the RBA is a group of these sorts of people that make the decision, and everyone else is a punter. Everyone else is, putting their footy tips in on a Thursday for the game. So the players take the field this afternoon to stretch the footy analogy, and we'll see what they come up with. But their comments about what comes next is most interesting. Are they going to forecast cuts into next year? Are they going to talk about, they've been given pause to maybe increase again before the end of the year because that's now seeming a live option? We just have to wait and see.
The new Reserve Bank governor, first name Allison? Michelle Corbett.
Bullock.
Yeah, close. There we go. 0 out of 2. All over this one. Thanks, Will. Leave the Reserve Bank analysis to you. Anyway, what's her name? She made some excellent comments last week, I thought, in light of the EMO report about how expensive energy is going to be and how unreliable energy is going to be over the coming months. And I thought she cleverly positioned herself to basically say to the Albanese government, listen, Sonny, I'm not going to be your whipping boy the same way Philip Lowe was. Did you see those comments she made about?
No.
She said that there are things in this report that show that there is nothing we are going to be able to do to combat the inflation-related impact of your energy policies. You know, she wasn't quite that blunt, but that was what she was saying. And like, you know, I just sort of marvel at the amount of things that are happening at the moment, like the IR laws.
What's it? Not nearly $10 billion over the next decade for employers.
But what about Albo's little mate Alan Joyce as well? Like the Times' front page this morning about fares from Adelaide to Europe and the US are soaring up to double the rate of pre-COVID prices, bucking outgoing Qantas boss Alan Joyce's claim that they were falling. Now, airline flights are part of the CPI, aren't they?
They absolutely are. Yep, travel is part of the basket of goods that gets assessed.
Yeah. So what impact is that having on it?
It's driving it up. It's a inflationary pressure.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'll start the day on a downer.
Geez, Albo doesn't like talking about Alan Joyce as his mate, does he? He now goes out of his way to not say his name, gets pressed about it in question time. It's a real sore spot. It's a bruise now.
But rightly so. Rightly so. The guy's, you know, you can people, rightly or wrongly, people judge people by the company that they keep. And this is where I think, particularly as a putative Labor Prime Minister, knocking around with a guy who spent, like, what is it, $4 million knocking out one of the walls in his Sydney harbourfront mansion so him and his partner can buy the apartment next door and link them up together.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a staggering amount of money.
My God.
Just do a Google search, Alan Joyce Sydney mansion, and read about what he's doing to that house. It's just insane. Like, the guy has so much money off the back of what over the last 3 years? Who knows? Because, you know, in terms of the national interest and the customer experience, you would give him barely a 3 out of 10. Probably not even a 3 out of 10. No. I reckon you give him, 3 out of 10 is a fail. So you'd give him something like a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Shareholders is one thing, but customers and the national interest in terms of using his position in a venal way to block Qatar on the basis of his nonsense, it'll distort the market crap, whatever that means. No one knows what that means. Distort the market for Qantas.
That's exactly right.
You'll have more.
It is a market distortion.
More flights to compete with.
Yeah, allowing unfettered. What
other business can do that? Like, imagine, say you're Domino's, and you hear that a new pizza chain is starting in Australia. So you ring the federal government and say, "Hey, we're quite happy with the number of pizza bars in Australia, even though our pizzas aren't really that crash hot." I mean, you know, has anyone ever had a Domino's pizza and said, "Oh, that's the best pizza I've ever eaten in my entire life"? I don't think so. In much the same way people say that about their Qantas flights now. No one says, "Oh, geez, that was an excellent flight."
Yeah, your pizza tends to get to the right destination, though. That's the thing. It tends to show up.
A lot quicker, too.
That's right. You tend to be able to get through to them when you need, you know, to order a pizza. That seems to be something that's achievable.
What the feds have done, it's the equivalent of saying, well, look, you know, Domino's create a lot of jobs. Domino's inject a lot of money back into the economy, and yeah, we've had to tell the people at, you know, Papa Giuseppe's that they're not allowed in.
Yeah, they're not allowed in.
Or they're not allowed. They've just got to stay in the little area.
It's a little while since I've brushed up on my Adam Smith and the invisible hand of economics, but my recollection is allowing unfettered free market access to a competitor is actually the opposite of a market intervention. Market intervention is when you say we're going to control who can participate, who can compete. The thing about the thing about Qantas and Alan Joyce that I think differentiates it from any other discussion of CEO in the country, or just about any other one, is I think they're employed a bit like the RBA to do one job, make money for the company, and if they do it, they've got a pass mark, they get a green tick, and we might not like how they do business, but the reality is they're in there to do a job, and if they satiate the demands of their shareholders, they've achieved it. The problem with this is a company that's been sustained by things like market interventions that artificially manipulate the market, not to the benefit of the customer, but for the benefit of the shareholder and the company, and they've been repeatedly bailed out by the taxpayer. So the taxpayer has to have a stake in the quality of the service.
But then worse, they've also used that money to pay themselves bonuses.
Exactly right. So I think it's a totally different conversation to any other private company.
I just don't understand why the board doesn't do something about it. What's that Richard Goyder bloke do for a living?
No, but they're happy. They made $2.5 billion.
But can't
they don't care.
I am actively trying to structure my life now so that I never need to fly Qantas again, unless there's some complete change.
But this is talking about the reality of free market economics. It won't be until you stop and I stop and other people go, stuff it, I'm going to go look at alternatives, that they'll suddenly become a good corporate citizen, and they'll improve things like customer service, and they'll improve things like rate competitiveness and so forth. Well, they need to see a response. To the listeners.
Are you like me? Like, if you're planning an overseas holiday, do you just go to qantas.com.au? I mean, I made that fatal mistake back in February when I booked our long-awaited, years-in-the-making family holiday to Mexico. My God. Just the amount of money that thing cost for the six of us to get there. I might have a chat to the boss about seeing if, I can start doing... co-hosting the afternoon show with Jade as well or something.
Oh, yeah, organ donation's pretty lucrative at the moment. Right. 16 after 6, news headlines next.
Way back in 1974, Gliderol Garage Doors began manufacturing and installing garage doors in South Australia. A lot has changed since then, but our commitment to quality remains as strong as ever. We have garage door solutions of all kinds. Not only do we have traditional doors, our timber look or custom designer doors ensure your house will make a style statement. For a free measure and quote and helpful advice, give Gliderol a call, 1300 799 177, or go to gliderol.com.au.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. National Tiles continues to relentlessly spook our competitors with our unbelievable checked and locked prices. Here's proof. 60 by 60 Stone Co concrete look floor tiles? No, not $29.95. National Tiles price just $19.95. That's right, National Tiles price not $29.95, but an unbelievable $19.95. So rush into National Tiles now and save.
Now, Will, I hate asking you this, but what's your garden like? Springtime must be looking good now.
It's Qantas-esque. It's not going great. The perception of it is generally speaking, it's struggling, David.
It's serving neither the public nor the national interest. Now, look, if you're struggling with your garden, the people at Stanford Mowers, these guys are fantastic. And look, they don't just want to talk about gardens. A picture tells 1,000 words. They want you to take your photos in and show them how you're going.
Exactly right. With 100 years of combined experience in the team, they've seen a lot. But look, it never gets old for these guys. They love it. So show them your unusual garden, your work in progress, your new veggie patch, maybe the time you dabbled in hedge sculpting. They want to see it all. They're a wealth of knowledge when it comes to tips and tools to keep your garden pristine.
I tell you what, you walk in there and you get gear envy. They've got so much good stuff, but so much know-how as well. Pop in for tips or just brag to somebody who gets gardens. Go to see Ben and Archie and their experienced team at 590 Main North Road, Jeps Cross, or check out their website, stanfordmowers.com.au.
For anyone with chronic low back pain, there's always one thing on your mind: fix my lower back. Reactivate is a clinically proven restorative therapy that works through a surgically implanted pulse generator. Think of it like having built-in physical therapy, which can feel like a deep tissue massage. To learn more about Reactivate, visit fixmylowerback.com.au. Patients must talk to their health professional about whether the Reactivate implantable pulse generator device is right for them and suitable as part of the overall plan to manage their intractable chronic mechanical low back pain. Outcomes may vary for each patient. Patients should discuss with their healthcare professional the factors that could impact the level and timing of the effect. The Reactivate IPG device is not a first-line treatment for chronic mechanical low back pain. Surgery is required to use the Reactivate IPG device, and any surgical procedure carries risk.
Maxima, disability employment and support for NDIS participants. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
90 minutes after 6. Text coming in on the Duttons text line. Fair to say, not a lot of great reviews for Qantas. We'll get to some of those in just a moment. Let's get to the news headlines first.
It's pretty wild at 20 past 6 in the morning that you say Qantas/Alan Joy/ we're sick of it, and you get that many texts. That is a interesting little focus group right there.
Commuters are being told to brace for more disruption, with Torrens Connect tram drivers set to walk off the job tomorrow. The industrial action will be between 3:50 and 6:50 p.m, so this is now smack bang in the evening peak hour. While the Education Union has flagged on their front more industrial action in the classroom too, looking to walk off the job potentially next Friday after talks over pay and conditions stalled with the state government.
See, we tried to give the AEU guy a bit of free public relations advice when we interviewed him the other day, saying, don't you think the union would look less, well, like a pack of bludgers, not to put too fine a point on it, if you didn't have the strike on a Friday, as they did last Friday, particularly ahead of the pupil-free day on the Monday for the Royal Show, so a special event day, not a pupil-free day, because you're sort of, angling to give your members what's effectively a bonus Easter there. And can't stress enough, not a knock on teachers, love teachers.
This is a knock on the strategy of the union.
Absolutely. So now, this genius, what's he going to do? Even in the midst of talks that are proceeding in good faith with the government, he's flagged another strike on a Friday, another one of these long weekend strikes. Why not do it on a Tuesday or a Wednesday? Like, it's just it makes the union look like it's there for the laggards and the shirkers.
Well, it feeds into the theory that a lot of this is the internal politics, because it might be popular internally. And there is an election in the offing.
Half the people who run that union on stress leave are on the unattached list anyway. Seriously, like they're not there for the go-getters, the AEU. They're there for the ones up the back looking at the clock.
A report from the United Nations has found Australia is suffering one of the largest losses of biodiversity due to invasive species. Australia has the second largest number of endemic species after Indonesia. What have we done here down in Southeast Asia to get cop this? Pests are costing $600 billion worldwide. We'll talk more about the RBA after 7 o'clock this morning, but as we mentioned just before the break, Philip Lowe will preside over his last Reserve Bank board meeting today, after 4 decades within the organisation. Millennials are relocating from major cities to regions at an increasing rate. An extra 54,000 people aged 25 to 39 moved to the bush in the 5 years to 2021 compared to the 2016 census. Regional Australia Institute Chief Executive Liz Ritchie says it's a regional renaissance.
They're bringing their skills, they're educated, they're energetic, and they're wanting to contribute to these communities. So it's a really big change for regional Australia.
So you think about that age bracket, 25 to 39, that's the time when people these days settle down and have kids. Most people wait these days till, maybe 23, 24, but normally, pretty common to hear friends who at the age of 30 decide that they're going to start a family. And this is like an Adelaide type story, I think, because we are still regarded by the Sydney and Melbourne and Brisbane crew as a big country town. I really think that a lot of young people now, and saying this as someone who feels absolutely blessed to have always had Adelaide in my back pocket as the place to return to when life in Sydney got too mental, there's just no quality of life in the big cities anymore.
Well, look, I think that there was an optimistic tone to that story, but I think the reality is the large part of that cohort are moving because they don't have a choice. Do you want a house?
They can't afford it.
Do you want a house? You move into Bilpin.
Yeah.
Do you want a house? You move into, pick somewhere on the Mornington Peninsula.
Because you're not buying it in Richmond or Collingwood anymore.
Exactly right. That's this reality of existence. Researchers have identified 40 new gene mutations that could cause breast cancer to run in families. They've compared the genes of 9,000 women with the disease to those of 55,000 healthy women. Genetic tests will now be carried out to determine if the genes are causing cancer. Now, the sum of all that is really good news. If they can work that out, that's very promising for that area of cancer research. 10.8 degrees outside in the city at the moment, top of 16 today, up to 2 mils of rain. Tomorrow is like an oasis in the desert, in reverse. Tomorrow's 24 and sunny, either side of it, sort of wet. Thursday goes back down to 14, up to 15 mils of rain for Thursday. Then Friday's dry, 15, so cool day, dry day Friday. Warms up a teeny bit on Saturday, but an overnight low of 5 going into Saturday, top of 17. Sunday, Monday, beautiful, partly cloudy, and on Monday and 20, Sunday, sunny and 20.
I reckon a lot of our gardening-loving listeners would listen to that forecast and their eyes would light up because it's the perfect sort of sweet spot of sun and moisture. So you can go out there, garden like a maniac when it's sunny, and then just sit back and pour yourself a cuppa and listen to the rain hit the roof after you've fertilised.
Your next 48 hours then.
Yeah,
sunny tomorrow.
Good. Exciting, Will.
I'm excited because Tom Wren's in the studio. Gliderol Garage Doors adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. Morning, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. We're on a bit of tennis watch this morning. Alex de Minaur, the last remaining Aussie. I think it could be arguably the biggest match of his Grand Slam life if he's able to get over Daniil Medvedev, who's got a great record at the US Open. So that will kick off in literally the next few minutes. So we'll keep a very close eye on that. A quarterfinal berth is up for grabs. A little bit of football news as well from yesterday. I think the big story is Charlie Dixon signing on for another year at Alberton, and Mitch Georgiades as well, which is a great, story for Port. Again, they've got a great record in terms of players that they've wanted to keep or players that they've wanted to headhunt over the last 4 or 5 years. It's hard to fault them, and I know he hasn't done that much on the field, Georgiades, but I think we all can see the potential. Needs to get his body right though now and get himself on the park.
And the trick of it is, I mean, I reckon you can keep anyone if you're willing to pay obscene overs. Now they clearly haven't had to do that because they've got enough money to bring Brodie Grundy in, which seems to be now the strongest rumour out there in footy.
Yes.
So it's a testament to good salary cap management. That list management team has done an exceptional job.
Yeah, because it's going to get harder, isn't it, with Butters? But then they're going to lose, Boak and eventually Dixon and those guys that have been paid well over the journey. So it's always a tight shuffle to be able to make it work. But so far they've done it. Just finally as well, I mentioned to you a lot of controversy when the US, the Ryder Cup coming up, Europe versus America. The Europe team's just come out and there's a fair bit of controversy there. They've picked a guy, 23-year-old Swede. You and I will be a bit disappointed, Will, because they've overlooked a player called Adrian Maronk, who comes from Poland. He's had a phenomenal 12 months. But they've picked this young kid.
It's not the first time the rest of Europe's forgotten Poland.
Exactly. Spot on, Will. Exactly right. We've been left in the lurch a little bit here. But Ludwig Aberg, now you might say who? Well, keep an eye on that name. They're talking about this guy like he is going to be the next big thing. He's the first player in Ryder Cup history to be picked for the Ryder Cup, which is a massive event before he's even played a major. John Daly won two.
Wow.
John Daly won two majors, never played in the Ryder Cup. Some phenomenal players have never.
That's great.
Where's this guy from?
He's from Sweden. He's been a pro for 75 days. One on the weekend.
75 days?
He looks like a stud, plays like a stud, a swing like I've not seen for a long time. He's already been compared to John Rahm, Victor Hovland. He can play, but it's a lot of pressure to throw him right. And the captain gets 6 picks for Europe, and he said, I'm picking this dude. He's that good. So,
that'll be exciting to watch.
Huge selection, yeah, massive. So in the golf world, he's causing quite the stir at the moment. And
it's not like Live Tom, where you're a chance of being caught up again.
Yeah. Nothing like that.
Okay,
but
no pro-am part of it.
No pro-am part of this, unfortunately. But it's definitely on the bucket list to get to one. But Demon Orr, we'll keep an eye on him this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll look forward to your updates over the course of the morning. Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks,
Tom.
Team Wren, thanks to Gliderol Garage Doors. Check out the new Timberlook Native Series sectional doors, gliderol.com.au.
At Light and Easy, we believe eating well is at the heart of men's health and well-being. It's why we've created over 235 delicious meals to make it easier for guys to eat well. For the guys wanting high-protein meals to help improve their fitness, to the guys who just want to lose a few kilos. For the guys looking to improve their health as they get a little older, to the guys who just want to enjoy a little more free time. Try Light and Easy for yourself. Visit lightandeasy.com.au today.
John Williamson in concert. Experience this Aussie icon as he performs his biggest hits from an impressive career. Don't miss John Williamson, True Blue himself. Her Majesty's Theatre, Saturday, October 14. Book now at Ticketek. Barossa Arts Centre, Sunday, October 15. Book now at barossaarts.com.au.
When it comes to flooring for your home, office or investment property, you've got the world at your feet at Floor World. Floor World has some serious purchasing power, keeping prices low on a huge range of flooring, including wool and synthetic carpets, engineered timber flooring, laminate, hybrid and vinyl flooring.
Now, Floor World also offer Hybrid Shield from Clever Choice. It's a totally new generation of waterproof flooring. Hybrid Shield from Clever Choice is pet-friendly, child-friendly, scratch-resistant, waterproof, comes in 22 different herringbone and plank-style options, plus it's exceptionally easy to clean. Perfect for either residential or commercial spaces.
Ask about Hybrid Shield from Clever Choice at Floor World. Call into their brand new store at 60 The Parade Nord or drop into Floor World next to Parafield Airport, Jeps Cross, Homemaker HQ or 1027 Port Road at Cheltenham. Or you can simply jump online and visit floorworld.com.au.
If it takes the local footy team to help move that dragging, scraping, sliding door of yours,
put your back into it, fellas.
Call Rollerco instead. Rollerco have the parts you need to make it slide again with just one finger. And in most cases, have those parts delivered to your door within 24 hours. Rollerco.com.au. They'll get you rolling.
Right, everyone out.
Rollerco.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers clearing, a high of 16. With the 6:30 news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Complete windscreen supply and fit, front, rear and door glass. Proudly South Australian since 1976.
It's unclear what sparked a huge fire at Sign Lab at Alberton last night. The business on Port Road has been completely destroyed. Former Port Adelaide Mayor Gary Johansson was one of the many onlookers.
When we got there was still roof sections in place, or quite a few of the beams, and then they proceeded to drop until the point that there's just a carcass of the building remaining now. Some of the front of the building actually fell in too while we were watching. It was quite dangerous.
Fire cause investigators will return to the scene this morning. The next tram strike is set to disrupt tomorrow afternoon's peak hour services. An ongoing pay dispute between drivers and Torrens Connect means the tram network will grind to a halt between 3:50 and 6:50 p.m. It comes as teachers also flag more industrial action in the classroom next Friday, with talks stalling between their union and the state government. Philip Lowe will end his term as Reserve Bank Governor today, presiding over his last monthly board meeting. The RBA is expected to leave interest rates on hold for another month. Dr Lowe will hand over the reins to his deputy, Michelle Bullock, who's tasked with overhauling the central bank. More millennials are leaving the country's capitals to live in the bush. An analysis of census data by the Regional Australia Institute shows an additional 54,000 people aged between 25 and 39 headed to the regions between 2016 and 2021, compared to the previous 5-year census period. Institute Chief Liz Ritchie says more jobs and cheaper housing are drawing younger people to the regions.
It's more affordable for them. They can have the opportunity to buy a house and create a better lifestyle as they see it. But perhaps one of the other critical drivers is actually this jobs boom that we've been experiencing across rural and regional Australia.
Russia's president has held talks with his Turkish counterpart as the nations work to reinstate the Black Sea grain deal. Moscow walked away from the deal in July. Vladimir Putin says there are promising developments.
We'll be ready to consider the possibility of reviving the grain deal. I told President Erdogan about this again today, and we'll do it as soon as all the agreements on lifting restrictions on Russian agricultural exports are fully implemented.
And Steve Harwell, the former lead singer of the rock group Smash Mouth, has died at the age of 56. Alison Petrowski reports.
The founding member and lead singer of Smash Mouth died at his home in Boise, Idaho, just days after entering hospice care after suffering from liver failure. Smash Mouth catapulted to fame in 1997 with the hit song Walking on the Sun.
Get off the shun, you might as well be walking on the sun.
It was followed by All Star in 1999, which reached the top spot on the US Billboard Top 40 charts and appeared on the soundtrack for Shrek. Harwell left the band in 2021 and stopped performing due to heart and neurological problems. His manager, Robert Hayes, says he passed away peacefully, surrounded by family and friends. In a statement, Hayes said Steve lived a 100% full-throttle life, burning brightly across the universe before burning out.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderall Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderall.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide will hit the track at Alberton later this morning with much doubt surrounding the fitness of forward Charlie Dixon as he pushes to return from a foot injury. Meantime, it remains unknown if Dustin Martin will see out the final year of his contract at Richmond. Caroline Wilson telling Nine's Footy Classified there's a lot of unknowns.
All his close mates have left. He's just farewelled Trent Cotchin, his major on-field mentor, and his other favourite, Jack Riewoldt, and he doesn't know who's going to be coaching him next year. He hasn't quite made up his mind. Other clubs still believe there is a conversation to be had, and the Sydney Swans are one of them.
GWS forward Toby Bedford has failed to overturn a one-match suspension he received against Carlton in the final round of the season, meaning he'll miss this weekend's clash against St Kilda. And West Coast young gun Ella Roberts has been nominated for the AFLW's Rising Star. To tennis now, men's world number one Carlos Alcaraz has been in action at the US Open. Craig Gabriel reports from New York.
Carlos Alcaraz broke serve to love and in doing so beat Matteo Arnaldi 6-3, 6-3, 6-4 and is the first man into the semis. The defending champion played some seriously sick returns, in particular a half volley that Andy Roddick referred to as insane and crazy great. The top seed will take on either Yannick Sinner or Alexander Zverev. Earlier there were wins for Wimbledon champion Raketa Vondrushova and Madison Keys, who upset Jessica Pegula.
And Aussie Alex de Minaur will hit the court shortly against number 3 seed Daniil Medvedev. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
A shower or two clearing today, a high of 16. Sunny tomorrow, up to 24. Showers returning on Thursday, though, down to 14. And partly cloudy Friday, 15. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Maxima, disability employment and support for NDIS participants. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
24 to 7. Had an extensive chat about Qantas to start the program this morning, and we've received a stack of texts. We'll get to those in a moment. First, though, Andrew's called in on 8223 0000, as we always invite you to call in and share your thoughts. Morning, Andrew.
Good morning, lads. How are you?
Good, mate.
Good, thanks, Andrew.
Look, high prices, shit-house service notwithstanding, I trashed three-quarters of my Qantas frequent flyer points yesterday in recognition of the fact that Alan Joyce has trashed one of the great iconic Australian brands. And given my background and the job I had and the career I had, I used to lust after wanting to work on Qantas and never quite made it. But I just think it's a disgrace, and I've got a few frequent flyer points left, and my kids and my grandkids are going to be the beneficiaries of those, and once they're gone, stuff them, I'm going to fly someone else.
When you say trash them, Andrew, what do you mean, mate? Did you just, book a whole bunch of stuff, or...?
I did. I went and booked a train ride from Brisbane to Adelaide and a flight up to Brisbane to get the train. That's how exciting I am.
So, mate, did you sort of approach it as a debt-clearing exercise, almost like a relationship-ending moment where you thought, I'll get rid of these damn points, and after that I'll join Chris Flyer or something with Air New Zealand instead?
I haven't flown since before COVID anyhow, so I had quite a lot. But I just got so angry with it. I thought, well, how can I protest? And I think Will said it before. It's when people stop flying with them. And after the next flight I have and the kids and the grandkids have, I'll never fly with them again. And equally, that rubbish Jetstar they have that I went on, and it is arguably the worst airline in the world. I get a better flight from the minor birds that just swept me as I was walking around.
Hey, Andrew, can I ask you, mate, putting you on the spot, because I know you've got a hugely successful background in advertising, and you've written some of the ads that have made South Australian brands so beloved. Lines like "Cloudy but Fine" for Cooper's Pale Ale. I think that was one of yours, wasn't it, mate?
Well, my ad, I didn't write the line, but someone else did. Yeah.
So, in terms of managing a brand like Qantas and its reputation, I would have thought from an ad man's perspective, historically it would have been a dream brief to get, wouldn't it?
Oh, look, and look at some of the work they've done. I mean, the great stuff with Peter Allen singing and the kids' choir singing and all that sort of stuff. I can remember flying back from the US once, and the plane was coming into Sydney, and they played I Still Call Australia Home, and I had tears coming down the cheeks. I was so moved by it all. And it was a great brand, a great airline. You know, people used to say, we're a bit not as good as that or not as good. But by and large, it's a bloody good airline. And, I felt proud of it. I feel very, I'm the opposite of proud now.
Yeah.
About it. I think
for everyone.
it's disgraceful.
Andrew, thank you. Appreciate your call again. Great to chat. 8223 is the number. Always happy to take your calls, folks, to get your thoughts on what's going on around the country. A lot of people texting you want to have to say about Qantas at the moment, though.
One here, Roger says, good morning, guys. I stopped using Qantas 3 years ago. Cost versus benefits, definitely not Qantas. Wally the Walnut on Alan Joyce's salary says, typical, the rich get richer and the poor can get stuffed. If I messed up at work, I'll get sacked, not paid $24 million. Graham says, how has the ACCC not got involved in Qantas and its business ethics? Well, they have now tried to, with the story the other day about the sale of flights that didn't exist. And one here from Robin Norwood, haven't flown Qantas since things opened up. Biggest rip-off merchants in the aviation world. Don't get me started on Joyce's pay, more than the CEO of the Macquarie Bank. And one here about the teacher strike saying, David, if you're a parent of a child affected by the strikes, wouldn't you prefer to have a Friday off, not a day in the middle of the week? Well, it doesn't make any real difference to me, whoever sent that text in. I'm making the point that from the union's perspective, it's not particularly bright because it makes it look like they're structuring this so they get their second long weekend in a fortnight. But to the point of would I prefer it on a different day? Thank you, whoever texted in. I'd prefer it on no days. And I reckon every other parent would too.
Have a listen to this story. We're not necessarily didn't design the morning to be a Qantas pile-on, but look, unfortunately, they provide so much content. Qantas is under fire. This story's coming out of Melbourne this morning. So whilst we've been talking, this story is broken. 78-year-old Stephen Jones, who was travelling with his wife between Adelaide and Melbourne, was informed he was going to be moved to economy so a Qantas staff member could take his place. Now, Stephen Jones is a Vietnam veteran who's flying business. He was told he's moving. Under the Qantas pay deal, a pilot must be given a business class seat when travelling for work. He's called into 3AW breakfast, our equivalent over in Melbourne this morning. Have a listen.
Qantas customer care rang me, and they were very, very apologetic, and I wasn't quite so receptive.
How about this? He received a partial refund.
What?
He received a partial refund.
So this bloke's paid full toed odds for business class.
Yes.
They've kicked him out of the seat to economy, and he doesn't get all his money back.
That's correct.
That is extraordinary.
I just want you to imagine a scenario, because I think this would be... If this story played out in America, could you imagine what Fox News would do with a story of about a veteran being kicked out of his seat by an airline that's bought into playing politics and putting slogans on their side of their planes?
Oh, yeah.
Could you imagine?
It'd be brilliant. We watch an hour of Fox News to watch the hatchet job
They would be ended.
You know, the thing about this company, this is why it's funny that we've ended up spending so much time in the first 45 minutes of the show talking about it this morning, is there are angles ahoy with Qantas right now, but there's been a shift in the media landscape. Now, Qantas, massive advertiser. Also, the upper echelons of Australia's media companies, not too light on for Qantas Chairman Club memberships. I reckon in the past, across the board, TV, print, can't really speak for radio because I don't know if we've had any financial arrangements with Qantas. I can't remember doing any live reads for them. But I think that up until now, the media in this country has probably gone a little bit easy on Qantas because they pay a stack of money as advertisers. What Alan Joyce has done, and this takes a special level of genius, is he's made it such a shambolic enterprise that if the salespeople rang and said to the editorial people, hey, listen, you know we've got a massive newspaper distribution deal with this lot, the editorial people go, whatever, because you look like a bunch of saps if you don't go hard on this story. So now, for all the... because they've got some really, really, really high-paid spinners. Like, I read a column potting him last year, and some bloke I vaguely used to work with rang me up, oh, g'day, Pemo, it's been a while. And I was thinking, who the hell was this? Some ex-journo probably earning $800,000 a year. Seriously, to make phone calls like that, to become your friend and tell you maybe just go a little bit easier next time. They're now at the point where it's completely unspinnable. So it's a mosh pit, and, you know, for the rest of us, we just... set up the deck chairs, chill the sauv blanc and sit back and enjoy.
Let's check the traffic thanks to Keezer. If you're tired of back pain, it's time to try Keezer. KIESER.com.au.
Thanks, Will, and good morning. At Kilkenny, look out for a crash, Regency Road near Torrens Road. Bedford Park Road, damage from an earlier burst water main. Sturt Road near Sutton Road, speeds at 40. And around Wayville, when the show kicks off a little bit later this morning, expect delays around Goodwood Road and Greenhill Road. Speeds drop down to 25 there too. Cameras, Gage Street, Firle and McGill Road and McGill. Anna Torv from The Last of Us is back in Season 2 of The Newsreader, 8:30 Sunday night on ABC TV or stream free on ABC iView. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Medical research doesn't have to be a bore. Spend 14 nights at CMAX Clinical Research and catch up on your favourite shows. Then attend one follow-up visit, and upon completion, participants are paid for their time. Healthy volunteers with no current medical conditions are needed to be part of the discovery of a potential treatment for bone marrow malignancies. Apply today for C06623 at cmax.com.au. That's cmax.com.au.
Hurry! Tickets for the biggest ever grand prize in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery are over 80% sold. Don't miss your chance to choose between a $5 million mortgage-free life in Hyde Park or $4.5 million in cash. There are over 10,000 prizes to win, but with over 80% of tickets sold, don't miss out. Join the fight. To see full details, visit homelottery.com.au. Licence M14411.
Tina, the Tina Turner musical, is rolling into Adelaide this April. Experience the inspiring life story of Tina Turner, the Queen of Rock and Roll, who didn't just break the rules, she rewrote them. Featuring more than 20 of Tina Turner's most iconic songs, including Simply the Best, Proud Mary, and River Deep, Mountain High. This smash hit musical is guaranteed to raise the roof night after night at Festival Theatre. So don't miss it. This incredible production, Tina, the Tina Turner musical. Tickets go on sale from today. That's your take out of this. If you want to get along, get your tickets today. So get your friends together and book yours now at Ticketek.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, the Lynn Andrews team have made it easy for landlords to manage residential and commercial property. From single homes to multiple commercial holdings, our passion for property investment means we have a great deal of knowledge. How to do it safely and properly, matching the right tenant with the right property every time. We're here to help you. Visit lynandrews.com.au.
It's time to raise the bar. If you're organising an event, anything from a small meeting to a grand gala, you'll know there are many things to consider. So trust the experts at Adelaide Convention Centre to help you elevate your vision. With the support from our team at every stage, you'll be amazed at what can happen in turning each aspect into an unforgettable experience for both you and your guests. Contact our team and discover the magic to elevate your vision at Adelaide Convention Centre.
Maxima, offering employment and disability support services. Break down the barriers of NDIS. Go to maxima.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
12 to 7, time to check in with the Weather Bureau. Simon Timmy on deck this morning. Simon, good morning to you. Are we going to get much more of a drizzle today, do you expect?
Good morning, Will. Morning, David. Look, I think mostly the showers have cleared away, actually. We had a cold front move across the Adelaide area through the early hours of this morning and did bring a few showers. But looking on the radar at the moment, it's pretty clear now, and the showers mostly contracted to the east. So I expect for the rest of the day it should be mostly dry. Just a slight chance of maybe a brief light shower through the morning, but mostly dry, I think. The southwesterly wind's still a little bit fresh out there, but they'll ease gradually during the day as well. As far as the rainfall went, we recorded 1.4 millimetres in the city here, and generally the order of 1 to 3 millimetres over the Adelaide Plains, and a little bit wetter about the hills. A few places picking up 3 to 8 millimetres about the hills. For temperatures today, we're had our overnight minimum right on midnight, actually, 9.8 degrees, currently sitting on 10.8 in the city, and expecting a maximum of 16 today, so a pretty cool day. 16 as well for Glenelg and Elizabeth, 15 for Noarlunga and Mount Barker. A warmer day on the way for Wednesday, though. We see the winds turn around northerly ahead of the next change, so a sunny day, northerly winds freshening a little bit, so they'll get a little bit fresh and a little bit gusty at times, but quite a bit warmer, 24 degrees the maximum for Wednesday after an overnight minimum of 9. We'll see those northerly winds shift west to southwesterly late in the evening as the next change moves across, and showers developing during Thursday with that change. And that change looks to be fairly vigorous in that there's quite a bit of cold air coming up behind it. So quite a cold day on the way Thursday. Maximum temperature just 14 degrees with showers around, possibly a rumble of thunder and even some small hail possible in some of those showers. A bit windy too with that change. The wind's turning around southwesterly and being fairly fresh and gusty at times. On Friday, still a couple of showers around, I think, in behind the change, but not as wet as Thursday, but remaining pretty cool, 15 degrees. And then over the weekend, looks to be a dry weekend, bit of cloud around for Saturday, 17, and then a sunny day on the way for Sunday, and a bit warmer too, 20 degrees.
Good weekend weather, good for the end of the show. Went to the show yesterday, had a great time with the kids. It was terrific. Thanks for that, Simon.
All right, let's head to St. Paul. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes is on the line. Rebecca, we've had these reports in our news over the course of the morning. There was a fire at Alberton last night.
Yeah, just after 9 p.m. last night, police and fire crews were called to Port Road, Alberton, following reports of a smell of burning plastic coming from a business premises. Our fire crews were quickly on scene. However, the fire had already taken hold of the building. Residents on nearby streets were evacuated from their homes for their safety, with one resident being treated at the scene by paramedics. The southern wall of the building collapsed, which caused damage to vehicles parked nearby on Parker Street, and Port Road was closed in both directions for about 4 hours. Our fire cause investigators will be attending the scene this morning to try to determine the cause of the fire.
Any of our listeners in the Port Adelaide, Alberton area, if you're affected by that fire, if you saw it, give us a ring, folks, 8223 0000. Also, Rebecca, there was a stolen car that was set alight in Morphettvale too.
Yeah, police and fire crews responded to reports of a car fire in Martin Road, Morphettvale, just after 1 a.m. this morning. One of the occupants of the car attempted to put the fire out with a garden hose, but was unsuccessful and ran off before help arrived. Our fire crews were really quickly on scene there and they extinguished the blaze. However, the car was completely burnt out. Inquiries revealed that the black Honda station wagon had been stolen overnight from the driveway of a Chrissy Downs home. Crime scene investigators attended and examined the scene. But a bit of a strange one there with someone trying to put out a fire on a stolen car. Normally, they torch them and run away. So we're keen to speak with anyone who saw any suspicious activity near this vehicle.
Maybe they had second thoughts.
Dash cam. Yeah, exactly. Or maybe they stole a lemon. Don't you hate that?
Exactly.
Anyone who has any dash cam or CCTV footage, this is this black Honda station wagon in Martin Road, Morphettvale. Anyone who may be able to assist, contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Nothing worse than stealing a car that's been condemned by Choice magazine. Thanks for that, Rebecca. No stars, worst car ever made.
Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes from SAPOL. You're hearing it everywhere at the moment, and it seems, be it anecdotally or there's something in the air, or we get days like tomorrow, it's suddenly going to be 24 degrees. Everyone is talking about the expectation there's this hot, dry summer coming, and part of that's informed by our expectation or even presumption at the moment that there's an El Nino weather event. We've had La Nina for the last couple of years. We know that means wet, so there were earlier this year suggestions that we might be coming into El Nino, and that might drive some dry temperature. Well, some climate scientists are saying we've got to hold up on talking about El Nino because, well, it's not quite here yet. Professor Mark Howden is the director of the Institute at ANU for Climate, Energy and Disaster Solutions and joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Professor Howden, good morning to you. So
Good morning.
We're not quite in El Nino yet, is that right?
Well, pretty much every meteorological organisation across the world has declared that we're likely to be in an El Nino, just that the Bureau hasn't achieved its own definitions in relation to that. But it's very clear that we've got an El Nino-like pattern across the Pacific, and that's likely to impact on Australia's weather over the next few months.
So in terms of impact, Professor, because I must admit, when I hear El Nino and La Nina, my eyes sort of glaze over a bit. I reckon a lot of people struggle to understand in a material sense how big the difference is. So what does it mean in terms of, rain in the sky, rain hitting the ground, temperatures, all that sort of stuff?
Oh, it makes a big difference to Australia. And so this El Nino sort of condition that we're seeing across the Pacific is there's a lot of warm water across the eastern Pacific, so over towards America, and there's less warm water above Australia, so to the north, around Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, Philippines. And what that does is it changes the winds across the Pacific, and it changes where the rain falls in the Pacific, and then that affects us here in Australia. So in an El Nino, we tend to get much drier conditions and much hotter conditions, so our daytime temperatures particularly tend to go up. And in the opposite phase, La Nina, we've got lots of warm water around Australia and to our north. That tends to bring us a lot of rainfall here in Australia, and that lowers our temperatures.
So are we likely to be?
It's a big difference.
Yeah. Are we likely to be seeing those effects now, or is that something that's still to come?
No, we're seeing those sort of El Nino-like impacts already in terms of systems around Australia. But the other big thing that's happening with Australia's weather, which is more impactful, is what we call the Indian Ocean dipole, which is the temperatures across the Indian Ocean rather than the Pacific Ocean. And at the moment, we've got lots of cold water to the north of Australia and more warm water across towards Africa, and that generates that generates dry conditions in Australia, and that tends to be hotter conditions in Australia, and that's already cutting in.
Do we have a way of reliably predicting how long the El Nino cycle will last for?
Well, not predicting it, but typically it lasts through to summer and then starts to dissipate in autumn. But what we saw recently was essentially a very extended La Nina, which went over 3 years. And so there is a historical precedent for these systems hanging around for a couple of years or even up to 3 years.
Fascinating analysis, and thanks for that very helpful explanation. I jotted some of what you said down, Professor Howden, so I'm going to be able to pretend that I know what I'm talking about from here on in. Very good explanation of El Nino versus La Nina.
Professor Mark Howden, the Director of the Institute for Climate and Energy at ANU.
Which, for those who don't know,
warm summer.
I'm sure most people do, but I reckon some of our listeners will go, why do they call it El Nino and La Nina? El Nino means the boy, and La Nina means the girl. Hey, the teacher who texted in before saying which day would we prefer the strike to be on sent a follow-up text that I missed earlier saying this. So this person is not a teacher, but their partner's a teacher, says this: by the way, my wife is a teacher who works 3 days a week, which she gets paid for, but she would probably be working the equivalent of a full-time job to be able to deliver for her students. Do you think that is a fair deal? Well, the simple answer to that is no, we don't. No. Like we've said, teachers deserve more pay and better conditions. We're not pig-headed or closed-minded about that.
They're two separate issues, aren't they?
They are. They're completely separate issues.
Whether there is a deserved case, yes, there is. But the tactics around it, that's a separate issue. How you prosecute it in the public eye.
The tactics are a separate issue, but also the economic reality of what the union is demanding is also an issue too. Because they do seem to think, that's it. If you can build subs, you can do this. Well, I think that is actually their position.
Yeah, I think, but the staffing one just doesn't seem achievable to me.
On 9,000 extra staff, get out your little magic wand, Steve Mulligan. Bing, there we go, 9,000 people.
5AA News is coming up. We'll take you through some of the other big stories developing that over the morning and the day in just a moment.
Are mild varicose veins making your legs feel achy, heavy and uncomfortable? Introducing Caruso's best-selling Veins Care formula, Caruso's Veins Clear. Caruso's Veins Clear relieves the uncomfortable symptoms associated with mild varicose veins, such as aching, heaviness, leg swelling and itchiness. It also maintains circulation to the legs and supports blood vessel health. Caruso's Veins Clear is made in Australia and is available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
I was just doing my job. I didn't think I'd get injured.
The doctor said it was a routine procedure? Right.
The car came out of nowhere and it smashed right into us.
At DBH Lawyers, we're here to listen to your story. Our team of local South Australian lawyers will help you navigate the law and find the best way forward. We're with you. We're for you. We're DBH Lawyers. dbh.com.au.
Hey, did you turn the water off?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Ah!
Oh, sorry, you meant the mains.
They used to say a good plumber is hard to find. Having an industry-backed master plumber puts you on the right track. The industry badge ensures trust, integrity and strength to get the job done. Trust a master plumbers member to complete the job. Search for the Master Plumber's Badge of Approval at findermasterplumber.com.au.
In tough times, it's the simple things that make a big difference. Like $17 schnitzel days at the Albion Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. We know the humble schnitty can't fix all our problems, but we do know it'll put a smile on your dial. $17 schnitties Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at the Albion Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. Making the world a better place. One schnitty at a time. Got to start somewhere. You just know it's a Barreau hotel.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers clearing in 16. With the 7 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brentig.
Complete windscreen supply and fit, front, rear and door glass. Proudly South Australian since 1976.
Sign Lab at Alberton has been completely destroyed by fire overnight. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says the blaze broke out just after 9 p.m. on Port Road.
Residents on nearby streets were evacuated from their homes for their safety, with one resident being treated at the scene by paramedics. The southern wall of the building collapsed, which caused damage to vehicles parked nearby on Parker Street, and Port Road was closed in both directions for about 4 hours. Our fire cause investigators will be attending the scene this morning to try to determine the cause of the fire.
Commuters are being told to brace for more disruption, with Torrens Connect tram drivers set to walk off the job tomorrow. The industrial action will be between 3:50 and 6:50 p.m. While the education unions flagged more industrial action in the classroom too, looking to walk off the job next Friday after talks over pay and working conditions stalled. Interest rates are likely to remain on hold as Philip Lowe wraps up his tenure as Reserve Bank Governor. More from Michael Packey.
Dr Lowe will bring his 40-year tenure at the RBA to an end after he chairs his last board meeting today. Most analysts are expecting the Reserve Bank to keep rates on hold for another month as the economy shows signs of slowing. Retail sales and jobs data is weaker and the previous 12 rate hikes are starting to push inflation down. After today's meeting, Dr Lowe will hand over the reins to his deputy Michelle Bullock, who's been tasked with overhauling the RBA, which includes an improvement to the way the bank communicates its rates decisions.
And ASIC is suing Westpac for failing to respond to customers' hardship notices. The corporate regulators begun civil proceedings in the federal court accusing the bank of a deficiency in its hardship notice processes over a 7-year period. In some cases, customers had debt collectors chasing them while waiting for Westpac to respond. A 14-year-old boy is fighting for life in hospital after a suspected abduction in Melbourne's southeast. More from Pat Mitchell.
Investigators say it appears the teenager was forced into a dark grey Volkswagen SUV in Glen Huntly around 3:30 yesterday afternoon. A short time later, the 14-year-old has fallen out of the moving vehicle near the intersection of Neerim and Grange Road, suffering life-threatening injuries. He was taken to hospital in a critical condition. No arrests have been made. Police investigating if the matter is linked to an earlier incident where 4 teenagers were robbed by 2 unknown offenders armed with machetes.
Qantas is again under fire, this time for kicking a Vietnam veteran out of his business class seat so a staff member could sit there. 78-year-old Stephen Jones was travelling between Adelaide and Melbourne when he was informed he was being moved to economy. Under the Qantas pay deal, a pilot must be given a business class seat when travelling for work. Mr Jones says the airlines tried to rectify the situation.
Qantas customer care rang me and they were very, very apologetic and I wasn't quite so receptive.
The former lead singer of the rock group Smash Mouth, Steve Harwell, has died from liver failure. He was 56. Smash Mouth catapulted to fame in 1997 with the song Walking on the Sun. Their other hit, All Star, was used on the soundtrack for Shrek. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Check out Gliderroll Garage Doors' new Timber Look Native Series sectional doors. Gliderroll.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide's locked in a key part of its future with Mitch Georgiades signing on for a further 4 years, while Charlie Dixon will also play on in 2024. Meantime, the AFL is being accused of making a huge mistake by not locking in Lee Matthews for a position on the league's commission. The champion player, coach and commentator publicly declared his interest in joining the commission earlier this year, and is understood to have grown frustrated with the lengthy process. Essendon great Matthew Lloyd telling Wide World of Sports Matthews is exactly what the game needs.
Sometimes wonder if they protect themselves, the game, by saying, okay, do we just select who we want, somebody who's going to come on and just be one of the crowd, a yes man?
So you think, yeah.
Yeah, rather than somebody coming in who is going to challenge our opinions and challenge the game.
And Brisbane veteran Daniel Rich has announced his retirement at the end of the season. Let's go to tennis, and Aussie Alex de Minaur is just starting his match against third seed Daniil Medvedev in their fourth round encounter at the US Open. Earlier, there were wins for Carlos Alcaraz and Andrei Rublev. To cricket, New Zealand great Kane Williamson will be named in the Black Caps one-day World Cup squad. That's despite not playing since April due to injury. And Red Bull Racing says it's unlikely Daniel Ricciardo will be able to return for the grid for the Formula One Grand Prix next weekend as he continues to recover from a broken wrist. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Planning a function? Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre team to elevate your vision for your next event.
Residual delays from early crash at Kilkenny, Regency Road near Torrens Road. Bedford Park Road damage from earlier burst water main, Sturt Road near Sutton Road, speeds at 40. And around Wavell this morning when the show cranks up again, expect delays and lots of people around Goodwood Road and Greenhill Road. Speeds will drop to 25 too. Cameras Arthur Street, Tranmere and Military Road at Westlake Shore. The Mercedes-Benz GLE SUV combines strength with style. Save from $6,000 on the GLE 400D at Mercedes-Benz Adelaide and Unley while stocks last. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
A shower or two clearing, a high of 16. Sunny on Wednesday up to 24, then showers returning on Thursday 14 and partly cloudy for Friday 15. At the moment 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Maxima, offering employment and disability support services. Break down the barriers of NDIS. Go to maxima.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Eight after 7, good morning to you. Welcome to the program. If you're joining us for the first time this Tuesday morning, the 5th of September. It is the first Tuesday of the month. It is Rates Day today. The Reserve Bank will meet and set down a determination after 2 p.m. today. It will be a significant one because the final time that Philip Lowe will preside over a Reserve Bank meeting over interest rates. Michelle Bullock will take over from this day forth. The expectation is rates will be kept on hold at 4.1% for the third consecutive month. Now, the interesting thing will be what their interpretation of the most recent set of economic data. Oddly, the big picture GDP stuff comes out tomorrow, and they're not going to be able to factor that into their thinking in terms of, is the economy growing or contracting and what rate. But all that said, we'll get some indication of what their thinking is going forward today, but with the Reserve Bank minutes when they're released. Are they expecting a holding cycle that's going to continue? Will there be one more increase before the end of the year, or are they going to be anticipating a rate cut cycle sooner than we're expecting?
What do those wild and crazy guys on the Reserve Bank board do after Phil Lowe's last meeting? Do they wander down the road to the Mint and just punch in the Stella Artois, have a big night, big final night? Does he get a gold watch? Does he get some sort of set of golf clubs or something for as a send off?
What was the big dinner they had the other week?
Oh, down in Tasmania. Yeah, $13,700 on food. I sort of would think and hope that after the publicity the poor blokes had over the last 12 months or so, it might be a quiet affair. You'd love to be a fly on the wall, though, behind closed doors. I reckon they would hate this government. I reckon they would feel like they've been carrying the can against inflation solely with all the other cost of living factors, energy policy, aviation policy, industrial policy. I reckon that if you were in a locked room, the Savo on Martin Place in Sydney, you'd hear some, well, they're not knockabout types, are they, these economists? It wouldn't be florid language, but they'd be pretty unimpressed with the way they've been treated by the government.
If you're out on the roads this morning listening to us, it would be to your benefit to pay attention to the little things driving out on our roads. Yesterday, SAPOL launched Operation Danger. I actually think this is the kind of operation that'll have everyone pumping their fists with delight that's listening this morning. It's going to run from yesterday when they started it right through until Sunday, September 10. Operation Danger, it's targeting road users who drive in a manner dangerous or without due care, doing things like disobeying traffic lights and signs, failing to keep left when required, following too close, engaging in dangerous lane changes, misuse of motor vehicle and drink and drug driving offences both in metropolitan regional areas. So this is not your big anti-drug campaign. This is not your big high speed or this, you're not high end. This is the idiot who weaves in and out of traffic dangerously. Yeah. They're cracking down on that guy, the tailgater.
I saw a guy on a black Beamer last night on South Terrace. He would have been doing 90 and it was like, just thought, mate, just...
Yep.
Get a life.
I wonder what the driving behaviour that's being targeted our listeners get most irritated by. Is it people who don't seem to care about traffic lights or stop signs? Is it people who don't keep left? Is it people who tailgate? Is it dangerous lane changes? What's the one that drives you the most nuts? Let us know on 8223 Text us on the Duttons text line as well. Here is Superintendent Darren Filkey from SAPOL launching Operation Danger.
Their behaviour is contributing to significant carnage on our roads each year. Things like failing to give way and not stopping at stop signs, all of those things we may take for granted. We need to enforce and reinforce with people what proper road use is.
In that realm of offending, there was 19,707 expiations given over the last financial year in that realm. So things like 3,039 tailgating offences and 4,823 failing to give way offences. Failing to give way.
Yeah.
God, that's infuriating.
Mine's the unnecessary speeding in a suburban or city environment. And you always pull up next to them with the lights. They're not beating the lights.
No.
It drives you mad.
It does. We spoke a little bit earlier about the fire at Alberton overnight. We spoke to SAPOL about it. Started just after 9 o'clock. Gary Johansson, the mayor at Port Adelaide and Enfield, spoke a little bit about it over the course of the morning.
All the vehicles always out the front, nice and shiny, and everything stands out so well. They do wonderful work down there, particularly on cars and boats and things. And so sad to see such a big business and employs lots of people and caters so much for people wanting sign work done. It's just total devastation. All the roof's fallen in, all the beams have fallen in, and it looks like the walls are about to fall out now.
Yeah, some dramatic pictures coming through. We called, in fact, to the evening's program last night. Gus McDonald for 9 News is at the scene this morning. Gus, for our listeners just waking up, bring them up to speed with the business and what's left of it.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, I'm standing here on Port Road at the Sign Lab. It's been completely destroyed. The beams have come down, as the mayor said, and there's 3 out of the 4 walls have also been destroyed. One of those walls has actually come down on a number of cars on Parker Street nearby. It's crushed one of the vehicles. It's a really sad reality for the owners. We've already been here this morning. I've been speaking to neighbours as well here in the area, and they were completely shocked and scared overnight when they were evacuated. There's actually a good story that's come out of this. A group of neighbours have had to jump a fence of an elderly resident and save him from his home. He didn't know what was going on, and so at least some sort of good coming out of here today, guys.
Thank you for that, Gus. Gus McDonald for 9 News of that Alberton fire. We've got someone texting in us a video, a really dramatic video to the Duttons text line this morning. We'd love to hear your thoughts. People were going past last night or even are this morning. 8223 0000 or text us. Thanks to Duttons, with a huge range of vehicles available on the hills and Murray Bridge, Duttons can deliver right now. The other news item that you need to get across this morning feels like we're just rolling the tape from last week because it has to do with tram and teachers' strikes. We start with trams. Late yesterday, some advice was issued by the Department of Infrastructure and Transport. There'll be no tram services operating from 3:50 p.m. until 7:30 p.m. tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Industrial action. So that's taking place tomorrow during the afternoon peak, 3:50 to 7:30 p.m. And teachers have announced the date of their next strike should there be no breaking of the impasse with the state government at the moment. That would come next week, next Friday, if they can't get any closer at the moment. September 15 would be the day that we'd get another teachers' strike. Seems remarkable that it would come so soon after the first one.
Well, it shows a total lack of goodwill on the part of the AEU. It's ridiculous. I mean, the government, they haven't been acting in a offensive, standoffish or unthinking way. The government has said all along.
Well, even Andrew Gold, when we spoke to him last week, was praised the education minister. And
I don't know what's going on Green Road with that lot. Well, I do know they're having elections. So it's in Andrew Gold's sort of vested self-interest to make himself look like the hard man who's driving a hard bargain for his members.
Lucy's just wandered into the studio. Morning to you, Luce.
Good morning. Just brought in a few quick texts about what people don't like on the roads.
Yes.
And they're coming through thick and fast. I thought I'd just read them out. First one here. Can the cops target food delivery drivers on scooters watching their phones and not the road? Someone says people driving with their lights off at night. I hate U-turns at traffic lights where they aren't permitted. That's from Daryl. My goodness, people who don't keep left. Hellworthy trespass, especially when they're swanning along well below the speed limit for no particular reason. They're much more civilised in the UK in this regard. Worst form of bad manners to not keep left, from Nathan. This one, Oh, here we go. This guy's a rep on the road who travels across SA. His biggest bugbear is drivers failing to keep left, including on overtaking lanes. It's from Mike. Another Mike says the high-vis hour along the Port River Expressway is a tailgating overload. I've seen cars overtake in a right-hand turn slip lane on numerous occasions.
What do you think the Venn diagram is between people who text in saying the thing that drives them most insane is people not keeping to the left, and those that say the worst thing on our roads is tailgating?
Yeah, there's a bit of a, you can't have it both ways.
Let's take some calls. Rick is on the line. Morning to you, Rick.
Good morning, mate. How you going?
Good, mate.
So I was just curious as to whether they're going to be targeting taxis. I'm a country driver. I actually drove to Adelaide the other day and was run up a curb by a taxi trying to get in front of me for a merging lane when he started 3 cars behind.
Oh, that's handy. Yeah, no, they'll be targeting everyone, Rick. Taxi drivers, Uber drivers, you name it. They're all being targeted by Operation Danger. That's exactly the kind of thing that you'd think this week, if there's a police officer in the vicinity, that would have received an expiation. Thank you. Luke, good morning.
Good morning. I've got so many bugbears about drivers failing to merge, failing to keep left. I'm a truck driver, been doing it for years, but I have to say that my biggest bugbear is it's kind of related to 2 things. One of them is when people, with especially newer cars, they travel at what they think is 100 kilometres an hour, where a truck, we've got 3 to 4 speed sensors plus GPS tracking to show that we're doing 100, but yet they're doing actually 95. So when we try to overtake them, they speed up, and then they ring your boss and say, your truck's speeding, blah, blah, blah. Then they ring the police pull us over, they do logbook checks, and then it just goes on and on and on. But look, one of my bugbears is failing to back off, which is actually a road rule. You're not allowed to accelerate while being overtaken.
Yeah.
And I think the police should really target that on other truck drivers as well, especially the types and a lot of caravans and cars.
Yeah. I think that's a great call, Luke. There seems to be a certain type of bloke who sees it as an affront to his masculinity if he gets overtaken.
Yeah. But let's flip it around and be glass half full. I think most people in South Australia will let you in. So if you're on a side street and it's peak hour and you're trying to pull out onto a main road, most people look at you and go, in you come. And I always think it's a nice feeling, waving at another motorist, them giving you the thumbs up.
That's good. Waving doesn't happen as much as it used to.
You know what's really annoying, though? If you let someone in, you don't get a thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you're in a narrow side street and there's cars parked on either side, so you're the person who goes, all right, there's a car coming, I'll pull over and wait.
You know what
and
I
the
think?
person goes past you and they don't even look at you. And it's like, hey, what am I?
Come on.
Chop liver?
Yeah, oi.
Hey, just a wave would be nice.
Yeah.
That's all I ask.
Lift a finger.
Yeah.
A
one
nod,
finger on the...
a little finger works.
Like the old country wave.
Do you know what I think?
Finger on the steering wheel.
The likely right but the least sexy explanation for all this stuff is a maths one, where I reckon probably 99 times out of 100 most people wave or indicate or give way. But 1 time out of 100 everyone, for whatever reason, makes a mistake or doesn't see it or timing's off. And if you spend all your time out on the road, you see a lot of, and there's a million people in this town, you see a lot of people's 1 time out of 100, and it makes you feel like everyone's a moron. When in reality, it's probably just playing the percentages.
Someone on the Duttons text line trying to keep your completely unwelcome and undesirable theory from yesterday going, Will, saying most of the male complainers texting are named David, so it figures. That's from a listener called David.
Well, I can't help them. That's what the data says.
A friend of mine said, where does this leave Professor David? Adelaide's beloved craniofacial.
Has anyone ever seen what reviews he's been leaving online? I'm not sure.
Worst meal I ever had. No stars.
Let's check traffic.
He's a great bloke.
If you're tired of back pain, try Kieser. KIESER.com.au.
Thanks, Will. At Bedford Park, road damage from nearly a burst water main. Sturt Road near Sutton Road, speeds at 40. Wavell expect delays a bit later in the morning when the show kicks off around Goodwood Road and Greenhill Road. Speeds will drop down to 25. There'll be a ton of people, so look out for those. And Mount George, large gum tree has fallen on the freeway off-ramp. As you're heading into Bridgewater, take care through there. Win over $675 million in today's USA Power Lotto. Get more zeros in your life with Australia's own lotteryoffice.com.au. Hurry, draw closes in less than 3 hours. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
Golden North. From Golden North, Timmy Kyriantsis. We've got Gwen hanging on the line right now.
In England years ago, instead of having normal Neapolitans, they used to have a lime one with the white, the chocolate and the lime, and that was brilliant.
Weekday mornings from 9.
I've never even been able to find it here.
It's funny you ask that, Gwen. All I need to say is just watch this space.
On 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Budget car and truck rental make life easy. Whether you need to move equipment, furniture, fresh produce or people, you'll find the widest variety of vehicles at competitive prices at Budget Car and Truck Rental. With 7 convenient locations across the metro area, plus regional locations, you'll find a budget near you. So if you're moving out or in, taking a load to the tip or going on a big trip, do it with Budget Car and Truck Rental. Call 13 27 27. That's 13 27 27.
Over 60,000 Adelaide homes have said yes to saving money on their energy bills with Yes, Your Energy Saving Solutions. What's keeping you? Your Energy Saving Solutions can connect you with the SA government initiative called REPS. To save money on heating this winter, Yes is offering eligible households a 2.6 kilowatt Rinnai system for only $699. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from Your Energy Saving Solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
It's one of the hardest, most complex decisions you can make, deciding on the future well-being of your parents.
Well, thankfully you can find all the info you need in one place, and that is in the 2023 Aged Care Guide.
It's absolutely free, and you'll find information on all aged care homes, home care providers, placement consultants, my aged care information, including financial support services to give you a better understanding of costs.
Plus a comprehensive list of providers of these services to let you choose the best provider that suits your situation.
Other features include types of care available, the ins and outs of short-term care, applying for funding and much more. For your free copy of the 2023 Aged Care Guide, call 1300 186 688 to have it delivered free to your door. That's 1300 186 688.
Experience Australia by train with Journey Beyond Rail and Phil Hoffman Travel. 2024 rail journeys are on sale now with a whole new style of travelling. Introducing Gold Premium, available from April 2024 on board the GAN and from December 2024 on the Great Southern. Featuring newly designed and contemporary cabins, exclusive access to the Gold Premium Lounge and an enhanced Gold dining experience. Contact Phil Hoffman Travel or visit pht.com.au.
1239 South Road, St Mary's. You'll want to remember that address. 1239 South Road, St Mary's, the new showroom of an Adelaide favourite, Bob Burns Blinds. Their gorgeous new showroom has a huge range of blinds, shutters and curtain materials on display. The team at Bob Burns Blinds can't wait to help you create a stunning new look for your home. It's a must-see. The Bob Burns Blinds new showroom at 1239 South Road, St Mary's. See you there.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Maxima, disability employment and support for NDIS participants. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
You can watch along all morning too on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. Lots of feedback to Operation Danger, police targeting nuisance road offences. Joe, good morning.
G'day, fellas. How are you?
Good, mate.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, besides these idiots, because I use the Moonhorse Road quite regularly every day, and these idiots that are not only truck drivers and heavy vehicles that are right up your backside that annoy me, and idiot car drivers that do exactly the same and then overtake you when the speed limit say 80 or 70, depending on what stretch of the road you are. It really annoys me. But the one that really bugs me is when you're turning, making a west turn into Kings Road, that you're going south because there's quick sticks on the corner and there's OTR and it goes into Bunnings. So they're on their far right-hand side. You're on your left side obeying the traffic rules and keeping there to make a left-hand turn into there. They swing across from the right-hand side and cut people off. There's going to be an almighty accident there one day, and it won't just be one car that will be cleaned up. There'll be several cars.
Yeah, good on you, Joe. Thank you for that one. Let's go to Peter. Morning, Peter.
Yeah, good morning, guys. How are we?
Good, thanks, mate.
Look, my job is I'm a night shift truck driver. Basically work between Edinburgh Park and Chaps Cross overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So do a lot of Port Wakefield Road. The two major things that I find happen so much is the not sticking to the left is huge. If someone wants to turn right in 5 kilometres time, they'll get into the right lane to just make sure that they are definitely in that right. Even though there's only a couple of us on the road, I'm talking like 2, 3, 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And the other one was people that drive with no headlights. You would not believe how many people just randomly driving without headlights. It's
Seriously?
a real issue, and you really. It's those times when you're in your car, in your truck, or whatever. You go, "Where's the cops?"
Yeah, that should be an easy one to pick up, and maybe they will this week. They'll pick up a few people doing that. Thank you, Peter. You know, one that gets me is I've got this theory about legacy speed limits. That it's more of a study of psychology than it is of.
Where you live is a good example because Military Road
is one I was going to name.
From West Lakes Boulevard down to Grange Road was 70 for years.
If you go 65 on that road, everyone flies by you. There's the same phenomenon. Burbridge Road next to the airport
Used to be 80.
Yep. No, well, Tapley's Hill Road, the end of Tapley's Hill is similar. It used to be 80 up further.
Yeah, I'm talking from say IKEA down to Tapley's Hill Road. That was 80.
Yeah, that's right. People fly past you there if you're doing 65.
The other one I would add,
legacy speed limits,
is from Seaford to Salix. That used to be 100, and now
Same
it's 90.
thing?
Well, it's every speed known to man at the moment because of the redevelopment. It is dead set. I drove down there the other day. It's 40, 60 and 80. By the time I got down to the Aldinga turn off, I had no idea what speed I should have been doing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I thought I'd just stick to about 53.
It's the only way you can be safe.
That's right.
Let's talk sports. $17 Schnitty Monday to Wednesday at the Albion, Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barrow hotel. Rowey last night asked Treaders about how Port should handle the challenge of taking on Brisbane at the Gabba, where this season the Lions are undefeated.
The mental battle, 11 from 11 they are at the Gabba. How do you approach that? Do you even bring it up in team meetings?
I wouldn't say that. Just go, we know they're good at home, we're going to have to be better.
Yeah.
And the other bit too is, hey, no one's given us a chance. Last time I saw the odds, it was 260 versus 170. No one cares. No one thinks we're a chance. Everyone's planning for the next week here in Adelaide Oval. Well, no. We've pushed them. You draw on the last game. We had a poor year last year, but have a look at this. Early in the season, we started poorly. We conceded heavily. I think they conceded 7 goals in a row in the round 1 clash. Then Port dominated the second half of the game, outrun them. So I think there'll be as much angst from Port to Brisbane as there would be from Brisbane to Port
well
about
said.
Port.
They're best they can do it.
And their pressure.
No question.
And whilst Port haven't been great in finals, their last two not being able to close it out after being favourites in their home finals, Brisbane have had poor finals performances for the last 4 years. So the monkey on the back, as much as it's Port Adelaide, it's probably a bit bigger gorilla on Brisbane's back at home in their perfect conditions.
It's a great point he makes with the recent finals history of both these sides. There's so much riding on it for both teams.
But don't you think there's an argument that psychologically that weight of expectation is more acute for Brisbane because everyone expects they're going to win?
Yes, it is this game.
Like if Port win, it'll be like, wow, Port are the real deal.
And then Port will get it they'll have the huge weight of expectation for the home prelim.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, that's exactly right. More on the sports show tonight. Great build up to what is going to be a huge final. this weekend. $17 shindy Monday to Wednesday at the Albion Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior, Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a borough. Phil Curry next, then the jury convenes.
What is Louver House? Simple. Louver House turns your outdoor area into a stunning entertainment space with an opening and closing roof. With rain sensors, you'll keep winter out. And when you need to, you can let the light in, so you can be outdoors and entertain all year round. Best of all, they're manufactured right here in SA with options like LED lighting. But you be the judge. Find out more with a free design, measure and quote. See the light with Louver House. louverhouse.com.au.
You can do just about anything online. Shop, meet new friends, watch reruns of your favourite TV shows or movies. But there's one thing you should never do online, and that's your will. From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers can answer your questions and help carry out your final wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers clearing and 16 with the 7:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettick.
Complete windscreen supply and fit, front, rear and door glass. Proudly South Australian since 1976.
A huge blaze has gutted Sign Lab at Alberton overnight. Gus McDonald from 9 News is there and says the roof has collapsed.
3 out of the 4 walls have also been destroyed. One of those walls has actually come down on a number of cars on Parker Street nearby. It's crushed one of the vehicles. It's a really sad reality for the owners who've already been here this morning. I've been speaking to neighbours as well here in the area, and they were completely shocked and scared overnight when they were evacuated. A group of neighbours have had to jump a fence of an elderly resident and save him from his home.
The Royal Show will be impacted by the next tram strike. Mel Usher has details.
The tram network will grind to a halt again on Wednesday. Drivers from Torrens Connect will walk off the job as part of their ongoing push for better pay and conditions. The industrial action is scheduled between 3:50pm and 6:50pm. However, tram services may be impacted from as early as 3:30. Normal services are expected to resume from 7:30pm. All tram lines will be impacted, including services both to and from Glenelg and the Entertainment Centre, as well as through the CBD. Limited substitute buses will be running.
And South Australian teachers could walk off the job again as soon as next week. A ring has been put around Friday, September the 15th. Philip Lowe will preside over his last Reserve Bank board meeting today after 4 decades with the organisation. Dr Lowe has spent the last 7 as RBA Governor. The central bank is expected to leave interest rates on hold for another month as inflation shows signs of easing. Those contemplating a new home build are paring back their great Australian dream. The nation's biggest builder says home buyers are giving up on pricey double-storey builds and luxuries like marble bench tops to help reduce construction costs. Here in SA, the average cost of building a house set a new record in July of $378,000. Qantas has apologised to a Vietnam veteran who was told to give up his business class seat for a staff member. 78-year-old Stephen Jones had to sit in economy away from his wife during a flight between Adelaide and Melbourne. The airline says under its pay deal, pilots must be given a business class seat when they're travelling for work. Lawyer Justin Lawrence says that doesn't mean the customer has to accept the offer, though.
Do not fly that leg. Go up to the desk and say, I'm actually hanging around here till you put me on the next first class or business class flight, because the minute you take that leg, your claim for compensation reduces to almost nil.
At least 3 people have died after heavy rain lashed Spain and triggered flash flooding. More from Edward Godfrey.
Following a summer spent dealing with record heat and wildfires, Spain is now facing another crisis. A huge amount of rainfall has caused extreme flooding from the centre of the country all the way out to the coast. Sadly, 3 people have been confirmed dead and many are unaccounted for. The government says some parts have received more than 200 litres of rain per square metre in a 24-hour period. One area among the worst hit is Toledo, south of the capital, Madrid. Rescuers have been busy digging away at cars buried by mud. Fast-flowing torrents washing everything away, in some cases, the roads themselves. Fortunately, the worst of the rain has passed, but a huge clean-up is now underway as rescue teams continue looking for missing residents.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderall Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderall.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Aussie Alex de Minaur's fourth-round match against Daniil Medvedev has been pushed back, with the start time now expected in the next half hour. Craig Gabriel believes they are well matched and de Minaur is physically and mentally prepared.
I have no doubt that Alex is going to be fit enough to go the distance, and we just wait and see who the crowd supports and how much encouragement Alex gets out of that and pushes through. It'll be a huge win for him if he is to beat Medvedev at a major.
Yeah, let's hope he can do it. Earlier, Carlos Alcaraz advanced through to the final 8, while women's number 3 seed Jessica Pegula was defeated by fellow American Madison Keys. To football, Brodie Grundy's teammates insist he is committed to Melbourne as the ruck weighs up his future at the Demons. The former Magpie has been meeting with other clubs, including Port Adelaide, having only played just once since round 17. Defender Christian Salem telling Wide World of Sports Grundy continues to work hard at training.
He's working on his craft as hard as he does, and I guess that's part of football. Like, I haven't really thought about it too much with what Brodie does, but we've got players coming in every day, 45, 46 players. They're committed to one cause, and that's winning the premiership, and he's definitely on that boat as well.
Port's players will train this morning as they prepare for Saturday night's clash against Brisbane at the Gabba. And Glenn Maxwell concedes he'll have to work smarter after missing the 2020 series with South Africa because of an ankle injury. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Planning a function? Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre team to elevate your vision for your next event.
Morning. Roads aren't looking too bad today. Got a few delays around Bedford Park. First from road damage from a previous burst water main. It's on Sturt Road near the Flinders Uni. Around Wavell a bit later in the morning when the show kicks off, it will get slow with lots of people around Goodwood Road and Greenhill Road. Take it easy through there. Mount George, large gum tree has fallen on the freeway off-ramp as you're heading into Bridgewater. And look out for a camera Gage Street at Firle. The Adelaide Central Market is open today. Shop the best fresh local produce, cheap eats and essentials. With over 70 traders under one roof, there's something for everyone at Adelaide Central Market. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
A shower or two clearing, a top of 16. Sunny tomorrow up to 24. Thursday, showers returning down to 14 and partly cloudy on Friday, 15. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Tired of your rent and bills going up and up and up? Pump them down with EcoVantage. It's easy to switch your existing hot water system for an energy-efficient heat pump, even if you're renting. And thanks to federal and state government-facilitated subsidies, it could cost as little as $0. Start saving hundreds off your water heating costs. Hit up your landlord and ask for the EcoVantage switch. Visit ecovantage.com.au. T's and C's apply.
Now, this is a subject close to my heart. I was only using my Charmin shelf yesterday. If you're fitting out a workshop, your shed, your rooms around the home with extra storage, or your garden, as I've done, forget the flat pack. Go Charmin shelving all the way.
Well, here's the thing we all love about Charmin shelving. It's all done for you. It's not flat pack. So you're not going to sit there for hours, opening those little plastic bags and reading instructions in another language, A and C and little squiggly lines. It's migraine material, David.
Well, I got to say, I put together a self-assembled shelf some years ago that I bought from a hardware store, very large one that dare not speak its name. I was needed counselling after I put the damn thing together. Seriously, The screws were so small. Just call Charmin Shelving. This stuff is absolutely crackerjack, top-notch. And they'll come out, give you a free measure and quote, then deliver and assemble it all for you.
Or if you want to assemble it yourself, they'll give you all the support you need.
When it comes to storage solutions, everyone needs some Charmin in their life. 412 North East Road, Windsor Gardens, charminshelving.com.au, or take a look on Facebook.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Maxima, disability employment and support for NDIS participants. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
21 to 8, Phil Curry in a moment from the Australian Financial Review. The jury is going to convene not too far off either. This might be a controversial topic this morning. Goes to people's taste. No right or wrong answer, which is the kind of jury we like. Could just be a group of 5AA breakfast listening peers.
And it's food related.
It is food related.
Not like our nut survey the other day. What inspired that? We're talking about you pay peanuts, you get monkeys, and we started talking about macadamia nuts.
The price points of various nuts.
Speaking of nuts, I got the Charlesworth bag yesterday for myself at the show, the $20 all savoury bag. It's very good, very good.
They do a great job, Charlesworth.
Oh.
You know the other thing we've got coming up, and it's happening very soon as I understand it, the Paul McCartney tickets. We're going to play you a little bit of Paul McCartney and put another listener in the running to win the hottest tickets in town to that show at the Entertainment Centre that is coming up very, very soon. That is going to be pretty exciting. So stay listening. You just need to be the first caller through when you hear the little Paul McCartney tidbit that gets played on 8223 0055. Phil Curry from the Australian Financial Review joins us. Morning to you, Phil.
Good morning, fellas.
You misty-eyed about Philip Lowe's last meeting today?
Oh, yeah. Not really. I just, nothing's going to happen. I think that's the main thing.
Good. We like those. We like those ones.
Yeah, he's going out sort of job done, I think, in terms of interest rate rises. Although his success and Michelle Bullock, who takes over, he's probably going to have to do. I reckon there's one more interest rate. One more interest rate increase left in him, but when that will be, we don't know. But inflation seems to be sort of on its way down. It's still high, too high, but it's coming down. But they may need to give it a bit of a shove in a couple of months. But I think Lowe will leave, probably thinking he's done what he had to do.
Hey, Phil.
Short and pretty.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Phil, next time you're writing one of your Pulse of the People analysis pieces for the esteemed organ, the Australian Financial Review, I'll send you a transcript of our text line from the last 2 days, what our listeners have been saying about both Joyce and The Voice. I was having a bit of a struggle on both fronts at the moment, isn't he?
He is. The Qatar Airlines thing is it's sort of put them both together, hasn't it? And pardon me, getting Alan Joyce to sort of back The Voice probably wasn't a good idea in hindsight. Having Qantas behind it, given I think it's the most complained about brand in Australia now. But the Qatar Airline thing isn't probably as simple as it sounds. The Prime Minister showed no sign of backing down yesterday. He said, look, they can fly as many planes as they like in Adelaide or Perth or Darwin, but they just can't. The slots they want are in Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne. The main entry points to the country. That's where the moolah is, and that's where all the passengers are. So, but he gave this sort of strident defence that we already allow more foreign airlines into our airspace than anyone else. But they just he can't sort of explain exactly what's behind the Qatar decision. He said he wasn't lobbied by Qantas on it. Now he said that to Parliament, so if he's not telling the truth, it's a pretty serious line. He was never lobbied by Qantas on this. He said he had a substantive conversation with someone else, and this dates back 4 years ago when the coalition sort of put the same limits on Qatar when they were in government over some fears of market abuse. But we're still pretty much in the dark as to what really went on. But at the end of the day, stuff costs a lot, and here's a solution, and they're not taking it.
And meanwhile, he's off to Indonesia. What's that all about?
Yeah, God, last thing we need. We're all heading off today for 6 days, 3 countries, 6 days. So this is, I know everyone's getting tired of all this travel, but these are the ones you've got to do. This is the ASEAN Summit in Indonesia tomorrow and Thursday, so we've got to go to that. That's got a regional security dialogue known as the East Asia with us and the Americans and the Canadians. We're all part of it. It's all still part of this sort of winning hearts and minds off China. It's a real tug of war in the region now. For countries, the ASEAN countries like Vietnam and the Philippines and Thailand and Laos and those sorts of places. And then after that, we're going to go to the Philippines, I think, for all of half a day. Philippines now probably, along with Vietnam, is our most significant ally in the region. They're getting a really hard time from the Chinese at the moment. The Chinese Coast Guard's attacking their fishing boats and all sorts of things. And so we're going to be probably announcing joint military exercises with the Philippines. And then from there, we're going to go to India for the G20 summit and watch the annual sort of fight with the Russians and the Chinese and the Americans and everything that goes on there. So it's a weird time to be going, to be missing Parliament. Normally they're better at planning these trips. But the worst thing is I'll be in a bloody plane on the way to India on Friday night. Going to miss the first Carlton final in 58 years or whatever. So,
oh, no, mate.
I don't get to watch it.
Oh, you're joking.
Oh, what a cruel twist.
Yeah, savage. I think we might sort of kick our way up to the front of the plane. I know the PM has a TV and he's thinking we might suck all the broadband dry and demand we put on the footy. But
well, mate, you're lucky because if there was any actual justice in this world, you'd be playing the Crows, who you last met in Gather Round. But because due to the AFL's spectacular incompetence and unprofessionalism, you're playing Sydney instead.
Well, Chris Kenny was down in Canberra yesterday. We had the very same conversation. it is a monumental injustice, it really is. But, what can you do?
Yeah. What about old Richard Goyder too? You should get your mate Joe Astor to start getting stuck into him, because he's the chair of both the AFL and Qantas. He's a real sort of benchmark of excellence bloke, isn't he?
Everything he touches, Joe has been giving him a belt. To your listeners, Joe's our back page columnist who started all the stuff on Qantas. I think he has been touching up Goyder in the last few days. But
more power to him.
We'll see how it all goes.
Good on you, Phil.
Good on you, Phil.
Phil Curry,
Go the Blues.
Political editor of the Australian Financial Review. Talk about suffering for your art. Travelling on the plane with the PM while your team's playing finals. Brutal.
That is terrible.
Brutal.
It happened to me, the 98 election campaign. It was great. I was on a plane following John Howard around the country, and the Friday before the grand final, because they never tell you where you're going in advance. So we got up in the morning on the Friday and they said, we're going to Melbourne. And I went, hang on, we're going to Melbourne? Grand final day? So I was there for the 98 grand final. I couldn't go to the game though, but I was at least there for the Crows beating the Roos. It was right in the middle of the election campaign.
I had a moment like that at a Crows-Swans final at Footy Park where my phone was suddenly ringing off the hook, my brief foray into politics, because all these political journos, because there's been some minor speculation about a regional MP that no one had heard of might resign. And I had about 200 phone calls, so I missed the whole third quarter of the game.
Oh, no.
Talking to people, and I just had this profound moment of, you know what, this is not for me. I do not care about this. I do not give two stuffs.
That's so funny.
I'm out.
The funniest thing in the world, covering the 1998 GST election, a hugely important election in the history of Australia, John Howard going for a second term. I was on the road for the Advertiser. So the whole time, rightly, the editor of the paper, he wouldn't even talk to me because he's going, we've got to do more Crows posters, we've got to do wraparounds, we've got to do pull-outs, we've got to do tribute Mark Rashido posters, everything you need to know about Bix, the whole thing. And I'm ringing from the road. Oh, we're in Cairns. Kim Beasley's had a bit of a gaffe. He's like, yeah, mate, keep it tight. 3 bars will do. I couldn't get a word in the paper. So after about a week, I thought, I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the club sandwiches and the complimentary beer, thanks to the company, and do bugger all work for the next 5 weeks. Terrific.
We've got a jury to convene. There's set to be a mango shortage in Australia this summer. Have a listen to Ben Martin, the chair of the Australian mango industry.
Growers have to work with Mother Nature. We've seen smaller flowering than we have, in previous years. But look, I'm still certain there's going to be plenty of mangoes around for consumers to enjoy this Christmas. Albeit they may have to pay, a little bit more, but the quality should be great. And I don't think the consumers will be going without. If you look at the prices that growers received last year, it was extremely low with that oversupply. So what we're sort of looking at is hopefully going back to sort of a pre-COVID price where, growers were getting a sustainable return for their fruit and building a sustainable industry. So what we really need is for consumers to get in and support the mango industry like they do every year, retailers to support it, and also the media, to get the good news stories out there about the crop and how well it's flowing and how great it tastes. So if everyone comes together, I'm sure the consumers will get a great experience, growers will be able to have a good season, and everyone will be happy.
Yeah, it's the area of Australia up in Queensland where they grow 40% of our mangoes, and they're saying there's not going to be enough produced, so they'll be fewer in number and they'll cost more coming this summer. Bit of an office in informal survey reveals that they tend to be divisive, the mango. So we thought we'd put it to the jury this morning.
In the criminal justice system, all defendants are innocent until proven guilty, either by confession, plea bargain, or trial by jury. This is one of those trials.
Are mangoes good or bad? 8223 Mangoes good or bad?
Surely no contest. I love them.
8223
Sam hates them.
If you're part of, everyone who's on the jury is in the running to win a family pass to the Royal Show. So it'll be a 1 in 6 or 7.
I'll save you $62.
Exactly right. Family pass to the show.
Bought one myself yesterday.
Simple. Mangoes, good or bad? 822 In the meantime, I'm going to check traffic. Keezer, tired of back pain, time to try Keezer, keezer.com.au.
Thanks, Will. Roads are looking pretty good this morning. No great dramas. Bedford Park, however, road damage from nearly a burst water main on Sturt Road just opposite the uni. Wayville, that will get busy later on when the show kicks off again around Goodwood Road and Greenhill Road. Look out for lots of people. Speeds will drop down to 25. And Mount George, large gum tree has fallen on the freeway off-ramp heading into Bridgewater. Got a Canberra 2, McGill Road and McGill. The all-new Hyundai Kona is here, bigger and bolder. Book a test drive at your local Hyundai dealer to experience dynamic styling and cutting-edge tech. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Need a forklift? Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Toyota is the world's #1 forklift brand with a great range of pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota forklift advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Get a Toyota forklift. Now, let's see what's in the swear jar at Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens. Oh, wrong swear jar. This is it. From Martin the Tiler, affectionately known as Millimetre Martin. He swears you'll love his millimetre-perfect craftsmanship. And here's one from Rick the Plumber. Rick swears to always clean up after himself, guaranteed. For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
Looking for an unforgettable experience? Well, Adelaide Strikers hospitality packages are now on sale this summer. Watch the Adelaide Strikers light up Adelaide Oval from the comfort of your own fully serviced area.
How good's this? Whether you're with family, hosting a corporate group or planning a Christmas party, there's something for everyone, from open-air boxes to fully catered functions.
Don't miss out on the Big Bash action this summer at Adelaide Oval. Secure your hospitality for New Year's Eve and other games. Check out the details, AdelaideStrikersHospitality.com.
What better way to enjoy all the exciting on-field action with your family or your mates than with a full VIP experience? So book today. Visit AdelaideStrikersHospitality.com. Adelaide Strikers, our city, our team.
Back in 2010, we all thought the price of a solar battery would come down. Truth of the matter is, it hasn't. But electricity is now a lot more expensive. I'm a big supporter of solar and always recommend NRG. When it comes to solar batteries, NRG won't be beaten on price, offering a 10-year warranty, blackout protection, and a battery and consumption monitoring app. Enjoy the feeling and the benefits of owning a solar battery sooner. Visit nrgsolar.com.au.
Speak with One Solution and they'll tell you cybercrime is not a big business problem, a government problem, or a small enterprise problem. It's everyone's problem. Ransomware, malware, and adware remain the #1 threat. One call to One Solution will put your business in a safe place. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Get in touch with One Solution, winner of the National Telstra Customer Experience Award. onesolution.net.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Maxima, offering employment and disability support services. Break down the barriers of NDIS. Go to maxima.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8 to 8. If you're catching a plane on Friday night, I reckon there's half a chance you'll arrive at your destination early. I like this text from Nick on the Duttons text line. He says, David and Will, Carlton supporter here. I'll be flying the plane whilst they're playing Friday night, hoping I land in time to see the second half. That is one of those ones where...
Nick, flying time from Adelaide to Sydney is expected to be 46 minutes.
It'll be one of those where they go to land. We've made good time coming in, expected landing 45 minutes early. It'll be that kind of... Okay, you wondered yourself, how did that happen? Wind conditions?
They'll leave the mic on you.
We got a jury that's been convened.
In the criminal justice system, all defendants are innocent until proven guilty, either by confession, plea bargain, or trial by jury. This is one of those trials.
Every member of the jury is in the running to win a family pass to the Royal Adelaide Show. We're asking you, mangoes, good or bad? Good morning, juror number 1.
Good morning. They're very good, thank you.
Thank you, juror number 1. Juror number 2, good morning.
Good morning. Hello.
What's your verdict, juror number 2?
Absolutely delicious. They are brilliantly good.
Feels like a good day for the mango industry. Juror number 3, what say you?
Good morning, fellas. Mangoes are absolutely wonderful. Good for me.
Yeah, I think excellent. The mango people have filled the jury. Good morning, juror number 4.
Hi, chaps. Con the Fruiterer here. Mangoes, too messy, too mucky, can't get the stone out. It's a negative from me.
Okay, no. Big no from juror number 4. Juror number 5, good morning.
No, yeah.
That was emphatic. Juror number 6, good morning.
Morning, guys. Absolutely love mangoes. They're pretty much the only fruit I can get my kids to eat, so lifesaver.
Oh, that's good. My daughter is obsessed with strawberries. She's a strawberry. It's the only thing that exists in the world. Juror number 7, good morning.
Morning. As Con the Fruiterer would say, the assholes.
a lot of Con the Fruiterer action on the jury this morning.
I was worried at the start of that call. I thought that was Albo.
Maybe it was. On his way to Indonesia. Juror number 8, good morning. Get cheap mangoes there.
Hi, my name is Josie. I love mangoes. I'll make a mango meringue pie.
Oh, nice.
Thank you, Josie. That's, I guess
the
you don't have
juror,
to. You don't have
as Josie.
You don't have to remain anonymous on the jury. Who wins the tickets? I think in the end, mangoes being good got up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 good, 2 bad.
Okay.
Let's give it to juror number 6 for no apparent reason.
Juror number 6, the
you know what's good on mango?
family
chili
pass
powder.
to the Royal Show is coming your way.
Sprinkle some chili powder on a mango. It will rock your world.
Okay. All thanks to Foodland, the mighty South Aussies, with more stores close to home and everyday low prices. Great food.
Shut up.
Lives at Foodland. So I'm just trying to thank the excellent people of Foodland for providing us with the tickets.
Well, great. We love Foodland.
Yes. Okay, it's time for John Blake, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
Yes, Steph?
Good morning, Premier. Tom Cutson-Tonus is here to see you, and he has a lot of little people with him.
Oh, really?
Afraid so.
Another school tour?
That's right.
All right, send them in.
Will do. Give that back, you can all go in. I said you can all go in. Girls and boys. Girls and boys! Whoa, Stephanie. You can go in.
Come in, Tom.
Hello, Premier Peter! Go on, inside.
G'day, Tom and everybody.
Keep the noise down. Stop talking. Say hello, Premier Peter.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
What do you do?
I'm the Premier.
What's that?
It's the person who leads the South Australian government.
Why?
Well, someone has to be in charge.
My daddy says that you should have fixed the ramping by now.
Well, you tell your daddy that we're working on it.
He says you're just a mouthpiece for the radical union movement and a socialist lackey.
Well, you tell your daddy to go and...
Hey, give that back, you little monster! Hey, come here!
Tom!
He took my pen and my packet of Chewies. Give it, listen.
Yeah, school tours are getting out of hand.
Well, why do we have them?
You have to do them because this is a democracy and the people's house should be available for the ordinary man in the street to scrutinise the workings of the South Australian Parliament.
Yeah, whatever. Everybody out.
Have a good day, Tom.
Thanks a lot, Premier Peter.
Bye, everybody.
Come on, I'll take you down to see Mr. Pangello. He's an SA Best member of the Legislative Council.
What's that?
Oh, who cares? But you'll find you'll be able to have a face-to-face conversation with Mr. Pangello. Well, you'll think that's funny when you see him.
More from John Blake after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors.
We're about to do breaking at 8, and it's a good one, but we've got time for a 3 minutes to 8 breaking at 8. This statement just out from the Australian Stock Exchange. Qantas Group's CEO, Alan Joyce, has advised the board he will bring forward his retirement by 2 months to help the company accelerate its renewal.
Wow.
As a result, CEO-designate Vanessa Hudson will assume the role of MD and Group CEO effective September 6. That's tomorrow. This is the quote from Alan Joyce. In the last few weeks, the focus on Qantas and events of the past made it clear to me that the company needs to move ahead with its renewal as a priority. He's been slotted by the board. They've finally woken up and smelt the stinking roses and decided that this guy is a dead weight in their saddlebags and he is GAWN gone.
How's poor old Vanessa having to now step into the live mess as opposed to, slowly...
Well, it's the only way is up.
Sure.
You want to take over from someone who's been doing a really crap job in the role. You know, she's the benchmark could not be any lower. But yeah, imagine that conversation. Oh, Vanessa, you got much on tomorrow?
Yeah.
Because
you're now running Qantas. Anyway, cheerio.
And old money bags. He's back to Mosman with his $20 million mansion and giant bonus in his back pocket.
Huge story that. Alan Joyce out as Qantas CEO, effective end of business today. 5AA News and Breaking 8 next.
Babe, why is there a boat in our driveway?
Yes.
And new golf clubs in the laundry?
Right, well-
And do you know anything about a holiday
Yeah.
booking in the Maldives?
Yeah, babe.
Did we win the lottery?
Babe.
Did you get a promotion?
Babe.
Oh no, you're having a midlife crisis.
Babe, chill. I went to Cosco Energy Group.
Cosco?
Yeah, Kozco. They've installed a new solar system on the roof, so now we're saving on power.
Cosco Energy Group, the experts at reducing your power costs. Cosco.com.au.
Babe, why is there a motorbike helmet on the table?
Some builders think a sloping block has limitations. When Beechwood Homes look at a sloping block, they think, the possibilities. Beechwood Homes know how to make the most of a sloping block. In fact, they specialise in them. Beechwood will design a home that works with the land you have, taking full advantage of every square metre. So if you're looking at a sloping block, go for it. Beechwood has your back. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers clearing, a high of 16. With the 8 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Complete windscreen supply and fit, front, rear and door glass. Proudly South Australian since 1976.
Nearby residents had to be evacuated and Port Road at Alberton was closed last night after a huge fire. It broke out at Sign Lab around 9 p.m. The roof of the business has collapsed and 3 of the 4 walls, damaging some cars parked on Parker Street. One resident was treated at the scene by ambulance crews for minor injuries. Fire investigators will attend the scene this morning to try to determine the cause. Former Port Adelaide Mayor Gary Johansson says there was an explosion beforehand.
One of the chaps that lives directly opposite the place said they heard an enormous big bang that just rattled their house. They wondered what had happened. They were just about to call the police, and then it was followed by numerous smaller bangs, and they ran outside and just saw the fire start.
And a stolen car went up in flames at Morfett Vale last night. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says it started on Martin Road just after 1.
One of the occupants of the car attempted to put the fire out with a garden hose, but was unsuccessful and ran off before help arrived. Fire crews were really quickly on scene there and they extinguished the blaze. However, the car was completely burnt out. Inquiries revealed that the black Honda station wagon had been stolen overnight from the driveway of a Christie Downs home.
The next tram strike is set to disrupt tomorrow afternoon's peak hour services. An ongoing pay dispute between drivers and Torrens Connect means the tram network will grind to a halt between 3:50 and 6:50 p.m. It comes as teachers also flag more industrial action next Friday, with talks stalling between their union and the state government. Philip Lowe will preside over his last Reserve Bank board meeting today, with interest rates tipped to stay on hold. More from Michael Packy.
Dr. Lowe has worked at the RBA for more than 40 years. He's been in charge of the organisation for the last 7, but his tenure hasn't been without setbacks, pumping billions of dollars into the economy at the height of COVID, which helped push up inflation, and subsequently interest rates have increased 12 times over the past 15 months. Dr. Lowe will chair his last Reserve Bank board meeting today and then hand over the reins to his deputy, Michelle Bullock, who's been tasked with overhauling the central bank.
Westpac is facing court action over accusations it failed to respond to customers' hardship notices. The corporate regulator has begun proceedings in the federal court. Airfares out of Australia continued to climb in the first 8 months of this year, despite the Qantas boss saying they've fallen. Webjet data shows some tickets are still double the price pre-COVID, even as Alan Joyce claims the airline's lowering the price of travel by increasing the number of flights. John O'Sullivan, the former Tourism Australia boss, says it should prompt a rethink of the decision to keep Qatar Airways out of more routes.
We are waiting for these markets to come back, and when you get an airline that is going to give you a network into markets like France, Italy, the UK and Europe that is still around that sort of 60 to 70% ways back from COVID, that's really important for us because the Australians are now going offshore. About 1 million Australians went to Bali in June of this year.
And mangoes could be in short supply this summer. An unseasonably warm Queensland winter has resulted in low yields. But Australian Mangoes Industry Association Chief Brett Kelly says there's no need to panic.
It has affected the flowering, but it's really still early days. At this point, we believe the volume will be down, but at the same time, there'll still be, heaps of mangoes available.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Check out Gliderroll Garage Doors' new Timber Look Native Series sectional doors. Gliderroll.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide will get a clearer picture on what its side will look like ahead of Saturday night's qualifying final against Brisbane when it trains at Alberton this morning. There's much interest on the fitness of several players, including Charlie Dixon, Trent McKenzie, Todd Marshall and Scott Lysett. Meantime, an emotional Daniel Rich has announced this season will be his last. The 2021 All-Australian has played 275 games with the Lions, but has found himself out of the side due to form. The 33-year-old telling his teammates he's hoping to see the club go all the way.
I want to be there for every part of it, whether I'm out there or not, supporting you guys. The one thing I'm lucky to be able to say is I'm a better person that I've been part of this footy club for so long.
To tennis, the fourth-round match between Aussie Alex de Minaur and Daniil Medvedev is still waiting to begin at the US Open in New York. Earlier, Carlos Alcaraz had a straight sets win against Italian Matteo Arnaldi, while Andrei Rublev outlasted Jack Draper to win in 4 sets. And on the women's side, Madison Keys won an All-American affair against third seed Jessica Pegula, while Marketa Vondrousova also advanced. Briefly elsewhere, New Zealand great Kane Williamson will be named in the Black Caps One-Day World Cup squad. That's despite not playing since April due to injury. And Luke Donald has picked his side for Team Europe ahead of next month's Ryder Cup, and he's caused quite the stir picking 23-year-old Swede Ludvig Aberg, who's the first player in history to be picked before he's played in even one major tournament. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Planning a function? Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre team to elevate your vision for your next event.
You should have a pretty good run heading to work today. No great delays. However, we do have roadworks at Bedford Park. That's from earlier burst water main. Sturt Road near the Uni. Speeds at 40. Wavell will get busy shortly with the show kicking off soon. Around Goodwood Road and Greenhill Road. Lots of people and speeds at 25. And Mount George, large gum tree has fallen on the freeway off ramp as you're heading into Bridgewater. Got a Canberra 2, McGill Road to McGill. Hungry? OTR makes filling up easy. Grab 2 premium pies for just $8. Flaky pastry with chunky fillings. OTR. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
A shower or two clearing today, 16. Sunny tomorrow up to 24. Then showers returning on Thursday, 14. And partly cloudy for Friday, 15. At the moment, 12. More news as it happens on 5AA.
G'day everyone, Cornsey here. Now, I know a great team and I see one, and the South Australian hydraulic team I rate the highest is BL Shipway. I've known them for a long time. David Shipway is one of the best blokes you'll ever meet. BL Shipway, they've been looking after your hydraulic and pneumatic needs since 1953 with brands like Ryco, Rexroth, Enerpac, Hydac, Oilpath, EasyFit and many more. And if you can't get to them, they'll send a Ryco 24/7 van to you anytime, anywhere. blshipway.com.au, a South Australian team you can count on.
For anyone with chronic low back pain, there's always one thing on your mind: fix my lower back. Reactivate is a clinically proven restorative therapy that works through a surgically implanted pulse generator. Think of it like having built-in physical therapy, which can feel like a deep tissue massage. To learn more about Reactivate, visit fixmylowerback.com.au. Patients must talk to their health professional about whether the Reactivate implantable pulse generator device is right for them and suitable as part of the overall plan to manage their intractable chronic mechanical low back pain. Outcomes may vary for each patient. Patients should discuss with their healthcare professional the factors that could impact the level and timing of the effect. The Reactivate IPG device is not a first-line treatment for chronic mechanical low back pain. Surgery is required to use the Reactivate IPG device, and any surgical procedure carries risk.
G'day, it's Baz from FIVEAA Milk Company. Just wanted to let you know that we're doing all we can to get behind our local dairy farmers. They've been doing it tough for a long time. Remember, when you buy FIVEAA Milk Company products, you're making a difference. So keep up the good work, SA. Look for FIVEAA Milk Company products in your supermarket. 3 words make all the difference. FIVEAA Milk Company. South Australian first and proud of it.
Maxima, offering employment and disability support services. Break down the barriers of NDIS. Go to maxima.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
9 after 8, breaking 8 in a moment, but of course a major. Breaking it just before 8, moments ago, advice provided by Qantas to the stock exchange that Alan Joyce would bring forward his retirement by 2 months. He is leaving Qantas effective end of business today, and Vanessa Hudson will take over tomorrow from 2 o'clock. From tomorrow morning.
Huge business story, and we were saying before the number of angles that this story has, the timing of him cashing out his bonus, the nature of the bonus, the delays, the cost of airfares, the chicanery behind the Qatar expansion being blocked. The reputational damage to the brand, huge task ahead for the new incoming CEO.
We'll get to some more of your texts on the Dutton's text line in a moment with a huge range of vehicles available in the Hills and Moe Bridge. Dutton's can deliver right now. And, of course, your contributions on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. But first, it's time for Breaking It 8.
Well, Governor Frances Adamson is a great friend of our breakfast show. We love our chats with her. She's also obviously the former Secretary of the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, Australia's peak diplomatic role. And on top of that, she's a genuinely compassionate person. Well, all three of those qualities have come together over the last couple of weeks. We understand that the Governor recently made a visit to Penang in her capacity as our Vice-Regal office bearer here in South Australia, the King's representative here on North Terrace at Government House. And she was up there meeting with her equivalents because Malaysia obviously is part of the Commonwealth too. Penang, former British colony, Georgetown, very English feel to it. Now, Georgetown is obviously the place where Anna Jenkins, the South Australian grandmother, lost her life in a presumed murder back in 2017. We understand that the Governor, totally off her own bat, got in touch with the Jenkins family prior to making this visit to Penang, which was to commemorate the 50th anniversary of our sister city relationship. And she spoke to the Jenkins family about their mum's case and their concerns about the Malaysian police investigation. And then when she went to Penang in her usual diplomatic way, we understand that she spoke to the Governor of Penang, the Mayor of Penang, and also the Chief Minister of Penang about Mum's case, and stated that there's a high importance of her case, not just to the Jenkins family, but to all South Australians, because the manner in which Mrs Jenkins met with foul play up there and the subsequent investigation has been a cause of huge concern. Then on her return, on Her Excellency's return from Penang, she met with the Jenkins family again and briefed them as to the nature of those talks. Now, the Governor is not a tub thumper. It's one of the reasons why you rise to the dizzy heights of being DFAT Secretary. She would have, I am sure, gone through this in her muted and diplomatic way. But it's a fact well worth recording, and it's one that certainly does mean a lot to the Jenkins family.
Okay, to 13 minutes after 8, breaking news everywhere this morning. Some news out of the state government. Adelaide Metro has been advised that industrial action planned for tomorrow afternoon by some drivers employed by Torrens Connect is no longer proceeding, and that all tram services will now run as usual. Now,
good on them.
The Department of Infrastructure and Transport hasn't provided a reason. They're just...
Did the union back down, or have they got some sort of industrial rule that has let the government override them?
Lucy's about to call the union, so we'll get them on and we'll get an answer on that front. Hopefully it's because they've come to an agreement. And
fingers crossed.
All parties are happy. And
or maybe they've just worked out something that seems to be lost on the leadership of the AEU, that stuffing people around is not a good way to win hearts and minds.
Quite possibly. We'll get some answers on that. That news just to hand this morning. 8223 is our number. You can shoot us a text on the Dutton's text line or jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. Some other news. We speculated last week, or was it the week before, about the Rolling Stones releasing some new music. They placed that peculiar and cryptic ad in a small newspaper in the UK, advertising a new store, Hackney Diamonds. You go to the website and it seemed to have all the Rolling Stones livery and all the appropriate trademarks, and it alluded to former bits of music. It was a glass repair store or some such, from memory. Well, now the band have put out a link to a new website called don'tgetangrywithme.com, where they've released a snippet of some new music. Of music that they've released. The teaser campaign for the release of this album has been superb. First new music they've released in 18 years.
Yeah, the car repair place, the mechanic workshop, isn't it?
Mechanical glass or something?
Yeah, no, it's cars. Hackney
Diamonds.
Hackney Diamonds. Yeah.
Hackney Diamonds is the expectation. So that is coming out. Well, we don't know, but that it's the next stage of rolling out what's going to be. Ultimately, I think they probably didn't need to do a whole lot of publicity. They're one of the biggest bands in the history of music. But the way they've done it, I think, is really clever and quite interesting.
I wonder if they got one more tour left in them. Will we see them here again?
Would you release a new album without planning a tour?
Normally you do.
I think they tour.
Oh, how good would that be?
Well, maybe it'd be a limited tour. Maybe just a couple of the big cities around the world.
Someone's got to do like a proper science experiment on that band, particularly Keith. Like that guy.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of the Mediterranean diet for rockers, isn't it? Whatever they're doing.
I don't know what Keith's diet's involved.
Speaking of health, Australians have saved the health system more than $320 million in a single year by participating in sport. The Australian Institute of Health has found the benefits of physical activity far outweigh the costs associated with injury. Dr. Heather Swanston says sport is reducing the strain on the health system.
Inactivity accounted for around $2.4 billion in health spending in 1 year. And the cost to the health system would have been $1.7 billion higher without the health benefits from current levels of physical activity.
It sort of expunges a myth that sometimes exists about all these people playing sport on the weekends, breaking bones and ankles and clogging up medical. Well, actually, they're a net beneficiary.
Yeah, completely.
So are smokers too, but that one's a bit more controversial. Time to check traffic. Keys are tired of back pain. Check the numbers, it's true. Time to try Keys at kieser.com.au.
Roads working really well for the drive-in today. However, we do have some roadworks getting done at Bedford Park, fixing up some road damage from Nellie Burst Water Main, stirred right opposite the Uni. Wavell will get busy pretty soon when the show kicks off around Goodwood Road and Greenhill Road. Speeds will drop to 25. And Mad George, large gum tree has fallen on the freeway off-ramp as you're heading into Bridgewater. Take care through there. Got a camera too, Addison Road at Pennington. Setting up your four-wheel drive? Petters four-wheel drive products offer a total brakes and suspension solution, complete with nationwide warranty. Petters, the four-wheel drive undercar experts. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Rashid Khan. Dizzy got his man.
Rashid's available for a fair chunk of this BBL, so it was a no-brainer for us.
What? A fair chunk?
A fair chunk.
Dizzy sit right next to you and I said, Dizzy, I don't think we want him unless he's there for all of it.
Rowey and Timmy G.
That doesn't say finals to me.
No. There's no good having him and then not have him.
4 p.m. weekdays on 5AA.
There's nothing worse than being in a home where it feels colder inside than out. Don't wait until cooler months arrive to get a new heating system installed. Get it done now with an automated system from Cosco Energy Group. It could save you some serious dollars and you'll never have to layer up to beat the cold chill again. Experience the automated heating solutions at the Cosco Energy Group's interactive showroom, 336 South Road, Croydon Park. KOZCO. Cosco Energy Group.
Speak with One Solution and they'll tell you cybercrime is not a big business problem, a government problem, or a small enterprise problem. It's everyone's problem. Ransomware, malware, and adware remain the #1 threat. One call to One Solution will put your business in a safe place. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Get in touch with One Solution, winner of the National Telstra Customer Experience Award. onesolution.net.au.
Now, this is exciting, super exciting. Yalumba are welcoming the next star in its Restaurant in Residence series, Rockpool Bar and Grill, for 3 exciting gastronomic experiences this September. Imagine that. Rockpool at Yalumba. So the dates are these: lunch Saturday the 23rd of September at 12 p.m, dinner Saturday the 23rd of September at 6 p.m, and lunch Sunday the 24th of September at 12 p.m.
How good does this sound? Now, it's going to be an unforgettable dining event featuring some of Rockpool Bar and Grill's favourite dishes, paired with wines in Yalumba's iconic private dining spaces, tanks 11 and 12. And those, I don't know if you've seen them. They're converted fermentation tanks.
Rockpool Sydney Restaurant is renowned for its unrivalled steaks and seafood dishes. I mean, you talk about
probably the most recognised restaurant in Australia.
I was going to say, the most famous restaurant in the country. They'd be in the top 3.
Neil Perry.
Yeah.
Revolutionary. Rockpool culinary director Corey Costello.
Makes good sandwiches too, doesn't he?
Yeah,
not that I've ever had one.
That's right. Rockpool culinary director Corey Costello, he's going to make a 6-course bespoke set menu for guests at Yalumba, including his famous wood-fire grilled Cape Grim beef fillet with potato and mushroom galette.
For more details and to book your place at the table, visit yalumba.com and click the events tab.
I was just doing my job. I didn't think I'd get injured.
The doctor said it was a routine procedure? Right.
The car came out of nowhere and it smashed right into us.
At DBH Lawyers, we're here to listen to your story. Our team of local South Australian lawyers will help you navigate the law and find the best way forward. We're with you. We're for you. We're DBH Lawyers. dbh.com.au.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. On time, on budget, on the job.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Maxima, disability employment and support for NDIS participants. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
$21 after 8. Time to talk movies. They're better at Wallace Cinemas, SA's home of big screen magic and entertainment. Visit wallace.com.au. Morning, Luce.
Good morning.
Now, you were set the task yesterday. What won in the end?
Films where the lead
The Way We Were
actor
did not
is
win.
a singer. So The Way We Were with Barbara Streisand did not win, but The Bodyguard with Whitney Houston
My
did
mother
win.
was outraged that The Way We Were didn't win.
Well, Eve, you got a ring to vote.
She said it was her favourite love story of all time. She's so angry.
A lot of people were.
She's still fuming this morning. But The Bodyguard. The Bodyguard got up. What did you make of it?
Bodyguard got up indeed. I put this in the definitely didn't hate it but won't watch it again category.
Okay.
I felt it was the classic, non-complicated love story that ought to be told. A bit of melodrama also never hurt anyone. And the punchy personality of Whitney Houston's character falling in love with the gallant Kevin Costner was downright lovely. Maybe, though, a slightly predictable love story in that, of course, a famous singer would fall in love with their own bodyguard. But it was a pleasant watch, even though, spoiler, they did not end up together. Give it 3 stars.
Yeah, I agree. I think three
I
out
think
of
that's
5 is
very
about right
fair.
for that film.
Yeah.
It's a very watchable film. If it came on TV and you're sitting around on a Thursday
popcorn
night,
flick.
you'd watch it.
I needed those phrases when I was writing
Yeah.
this, because that's exactly how I feel. It was
Yeah.
watchable, and I would have...
Do you like Kevin Costner?
Oh, I'm not big on him.
I was
Have you seen The Untouchables?
No.
That's excellent. Great De Niro as Al Capone. I want you to find this Elliot Ness. I want his family dead. I want you to find his house and burn it to the ground.
Have you ever seen many bodyguards that look like Kevin Costner?
He's not a real big guy.
No, when you
I didn't
see
see Timmy at the
bodyguards,
show
generally they tend to look a little, there's no
I've
neck.
been around the block a few
Yeah,
times.
that's right. They look like they've exclusively done bicep curls for the last 25 years.
It's sad watching Whitney in that film and thinking about what happened to her.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, David, because for my audio today, I've just picked a bit of Whitney singing from the movie.
Great. He's like dead set in the top 10 20th century female singers. So you've got like, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday. Like, she's one of the all-time great singers. And her first two albums, which I think the set was it the one with the greatest love of all on it. I think it was one of the highest selling records in Australian history. But that, the relationship she had with that deadbeat Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
The way they just totally drifted into this drug vortex. It's actually a really scary example of how someone with so much talent can just blow it all on account of addiction.
It's kind of the oldest story in music, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I mentioned Billie Holiday.
Yeah.
She did not live to a ripe old age.
How many times have we seen that play out?
Yeah. Well, there was that period in the 50s where almost every big name in jazz was addicted to heroin. Like, it's just crazy. Like Miles Davis, like John Coltrane. But yeah, so sad. And yeah, the soundtrack outweighs the film, I think, in that case.
Yes, yeah. Good review. Solid review, Luce. Thanks to the great people at Wallace Cinemas, of course. Now it's time for Fuel Watch. All South Aussies can find the cheapest fuel in an instant. Download the free RAA app. This is the situation this morning. Most outlets for unleaded are at the $2.14 mark. The cheapest is a significant saving, and that's the OTR Grand Junction Road, Jeps Cross. You get it for $1.90 there, so that's a 24-cent saving off what you're getting on average, not the peak. The best place diesel was the Shell Petters Crescent Regency Park, $2.2.5. Now, we've put in a call whilst the review's been on to the Transport Minister, Tom Kurtzantonis' office, with regard to the tram strike being called off tomorrow. Some breaking news in the last 10 minutes. The Minister will join us to explain what's happened right after the 8:30 news. So that's coming up on 5AA Breakfast. We probably have some time for a couple of texts if you want to revisit them.
One here from Dean saying, Dave and Will, I love mangoes. They're a great sedative for me. Gives me a good night's sleep.
Do they have a sedative
Maybe they do.
impact? I didn't know that.
Bananas do. Although apparently if you eat you've got to eat the banana during the day, not at night. If you eat it at night, it can make it hard for you to sleep. But apparently it's really good for your digestion. It's really like slow breakdown, the banana, the humble banana.
Every banana contains a component of radiation, doesn't it?
Is it true?
Yeah, I think there's, yeah.
Really?
A tiny trace amount.
One here from Mark saying, Dave and Will, let's hope that old mate Alan has to pay for his one-way ticket back to Ireland. Let's not play the race card, Mark. And one here, mangoes are better than anything, and I mean anything. Fair enough.
Anything?
Apparently.
Wow.
Well, they are.
That's a mango devotee when you're choosing it over, I don't know,
other stuff.
World peace. But... You know,
I don't think they're alluding to world peace somehow.
They are delicious. Keep your texts coming in with a huge range of vehicles available in the hills in Murray Bridge. Duttons can deliver right now. 5AA News coming up. The Transport Minister, Tom Kurtzantonis, next.
Thinking of getting a solar battery? Well, sadly, they're not going to get cheaper like we thought 10 years ago. But the ability to pay them off is incredibly easier now than it was back then. I recommend getting in touch with NRG Solar to get a battery for your home with a 10-year warranty, blackout protection that will save you thousands of dollars, all visible on a simple-to-use app. Enjoy the feeling and benefits of owning a solar battery sooner. Visit nrgsolar.com.au.
Over 60,000 Adelaide homes have said yes to saving money on their energy bills with Yes, Your Energy Saving Solutions. What's keeping you? Your Energy Saving Solutions can connect you with the SA government initiative called REPS. To save money on heating this winter, Yes is offering eligible households a 2.6 kilowatt Rinnai system for only $699. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from Your Energy Saving Solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
Are you a cask water drinker? Do you make the regular trek to the shops to haul those heavy boxes home?
Oh, not the wobbly walk, trying to balance 10 odd kilos on one side and your groceries on the other.
Then there's the cost. A cask of water sets you back more than $5, lasts maybe a week at home or in your office if you're lucky, and it quickly adds up to hundreds of dollars over the year.
If you want clean, refreshing drinking water without the hassle, switch to PureTap. Once you're all set up, it's about $6 a month to maintain for unlimited, fresh, clean drinking water on tap.
Don't waste time, plastic and money on cask water and bottles. Get the taste without the waste and switch to PureTap.
It's easy to get set up and you won't believe the price because they're on sale right now with PureTap's spring sale.
So switch and save today. Give PureTap a call on 133 502. That's 133 502.
What's on your bucket list? Skydiving? Swimming with dolphins? Hot air ballooning? Before you plan a bucket list, plan your will with Donlan Lawyers. A will, power of attorney and advanced care directive speak for you when you can't. It means you and your loved ones will be taken care of. Visit donlanlawyers.com. Put it on your bucket list. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
What is Louver House? Simple. Louver House turns your outdoor area into a stunning entertainment space with an opening and closing roof. With rain sensors, you'll keep winter out. And when you need to, you can let the light in, so you can be outdoors and entertain all year round. Best of all, they're manufactured right here in SA with options like LED lighting. But you be the judge. Find out more with a free design, measure and quote. See the light with Louver House. louverhouse.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers clearing and 16. With the 8:30 news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Complete windscreen supply and fit, front, rear and door glass. Proudly South Australian since 1976.
Qantas boss Alan Joyce is leaving Qantas today, departing the airline 2 months sooner than expected. Incoming Chief Vanessa Hudson will take over the reins tomorrow. Mr Joyce says the last few weeks have made it clear the company needs to make renewal its priority. AFR journalist Joe Aston says he leaves amid a PR disaster.
It's pretty clear here what's happened. The board has finally woken up to the terrifying fact that if they weren't going to get Joyce out the door early, then the board directors themselves were going to be voted off the board at the AGM, which is only 2 months away.
A strike by tram drivers tomorrow has been called off. The stop work had been called for Wednesday afternoon by some Torrens Connect drivers, but it's no longer proceeding and all tram services will run as normal. But teachers have flagged more industrial action next Friday after talks over their pay and working conditions stalled. A business at Alberton has been destroyed by fire overnight. Emergency crews were called to Sign Lab on Port Road just after 9. It took 75 firefighters around an hour to control the blaze. Former Port Adelaide Mayor Gary Johansson says the building's been gutted.
They do wonderful work down there, particularly on cars and boats and things, and so sad to see such a big, business that employs lots of people and caters so much for people wanting sign work done. It's just total devastation.
It's unclear what sparked the blaze, but there are reports of explosions beforehand. And a stolen car went up in flames at Morford Vale last night. One of the occupants of the car tried to put the fire out with a nearby garden hose, but was unsuccessful and then ran off. One car was completely burnt out. The Honda station wagon had been stolen overnight from the driveway of a Christie Downs home. Philip Lowe will end his term as Reserve Bank Governor today, presiding over his last monthly board meeting. The RBA is expected to leave interest rates on hold for another month. Dr Lowe will hand over the reins to his deputy, Michelle Bullock, who's tasked with overhauling the central bank. An increasing number of millennials are leaving capital cities. The Regional Australia Institute's Big Movers report shows the number of people making the tree change, aged between 25 and 39, and those born overseas has doubled over 10 years. Chief Executive Liz Ritchie says a national population plan's needed.
It doesn't just look at people and population, it also marries that with the jobs of today, the jobs of tomorrow, and the soft and hard infrastructure that's required, such as additional housing, education and childcare services.
Australia's health regulator's expanding its crackdown on cosmetic surgery to include Botox and other injectables. Rogue operators have been the focus of a review into the industry over the past 12 months. Martin Fletcher from the Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Agency says they're now going after those who perform fillers, anti-wrinkle and fat-dissolving injections.
The cosmetic sector's booming and we want everyone who chooses a cosmetic procedure to be as safe as possible. Cosmetic procedures are not like getting a haircut. They are invasive and carry risks, and our cosmetic hotline has received over 400 calls over the past 12 months, raising a whole range of concerns.
Briefly, the Prime Minister will jet off to the ASEAN summit in Jakarta today before heading to the Philippines and then on to India for the G20. A car has slammed into a busy restaurant in Texas, injuring 23 people. The driver wasn't hurt. And Greek authorities will start limiting daily visitors to the Acropolis to tackle overcrowding. A maximum of 20,000 throughout the day will be permitted. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderall Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderall.com.au.
And Tom Wren, Alex Demonors finally hit the court.
Yeah, which is good to see. And he's made a blistering start too, Kendall, in his fourth round match against the third seed Daniil Medvedev. That's it at the US Open, of course, in New York. And as you say, a great start. He's up a double break of serve and he's now serving for the first set at 5-2. Earlier, Andrei Rublev beat Jack Draper in 4 sets to advance to the quarterfinals, while Carlos Alcaraz also had a win, but number 1 seed Iga Swiatek lost on the women's side. She's the number 1 seed there in 3 sets. Well, Port Adelaide will hit the training track again this morning, the club to keep a close eye on several key players as they prepare for Saturday night's qualifying final against Brisbane at the Gabba. One of them, of course, Charlie Dixon, who's re-signed with the club, meaning he'll play on in 2024. Let's go to cricket. Mitch Marsh has made a stunning start as captain of Australia's T20 team. Taking over from Aaron Finch, he's led the Aussies to a 3-0 clean sweep over South Africa after a 5-wicket win in Game 3. Named player of the series, Marsh says he's growing as a leader.
Yeah, I think I've learned a lot. Certainly when I was captain younger at the Perth Scorchers especially, I struggled with that, but I've just tried to stay as calm as possible. I'm really comfortable with how I prepare batting-wise now.
Audio there thanks to Fox Sports. The first of the 5 one-days will start on Thursday night, our time. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Planning a function? Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre team to elevate your vision for your next event.
Good morning. Getting busy in a few spots this morning. Goodwood Road at the Crossroad intersection. Also, Park Terrace at North Adelaide getting busy. Slow for works at the moment at Bedford Park due to fixing some road damage from nearly a burst water main. Sturt Road near the Flinders Uni. And around Wavell, show kicks off soon, so expect delays around Goodwood Road and Greenhill Road. Speeds will drop down to 25 too. You wouldn't operate a chainsaw blindfolded, so why dig without searching before you dig first? If you don't, you're digging blind. Search before you dig online every time. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
A shower or two clearing, a high of 16. Sunny tomorrow, up to 24. Then showers returning on Thursday, 14. And partly cloudy Friday, 15. At the moment, 13. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Maxima, disability employment and support for NDIS participants. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 to 9 behind closed doors is not too far away. We're going to chat with the Transport Minister in a moment. Some news broke in the last half an hour regarding the tram strike slated for tomorrow that we now know will not be going ahead. The reason why is unclear to this point in time, but we'll get some more information from the Minister. We've put in a call to the union, but no one there answering the phone as yet. Presumably they may want to be communicating something to their members first, but we will hear from the Minister, his take, in a few moments' time. No, wrong one. Hey,
Paul McCartney did not write that first piece of music.
No, he didn't. He's written a lot of music, but not that one. Not that one. No. 22 to 9. We will get to the Minister in just a moment. Few texts have come through on the Duttons text line.
I like this one with some cinematic recommendations from our good mate Scott in Modbury. He says, hey boys, we should introduce Lucy to Kevin Costner properly. Give her a Sunday movie marathon. Get her to watch The Untouchables, The Highwaymen, and finish it off with Tin Cup, second best golf movie of all time, obviously, after Caddyshack. That's a great way to blow a Sunday in front of the TV. Good on you, Scott.
I like Kevin Costner, but I don't love his movies. It was how I describe him. I quite like him as an actor. But
Dances with Wolves, you watch for the scenery.
Dances
That was
with
the
Wolves.
one
Well, that won
where
an Oscar,
Dean Semler,
yes,
Australia's own Dean Semler, won the Oscar.
And I think Field of Dreams is iconic too.
I've never seen that.
If you build it, they will come. The cornfield. It's very
It's
Americana.
about baseball, isn't it?
Yeah, and the ghosts of a long past Yankees team, I think.
Still getting a lot of texts about what drives people mad on the roads. Andrew in Blackwood says, I'm tired of drivers overtaking me when doing 110 in the country. Then they slide back across and sit on the speed limit about 15 metres in front of my car. And Stewie says, boys, the biggest issue on the roads is the number of speed limits, anywhere from 40 to 110. So confusing, and trust me, Adelaide drivers don't take much confusing. Good on you, Stewie. Well, the one that I always marvel at is why is it called Peacock Road? The extension of King William Street between South Terrace and Greenhill Road is 50, but the extension of Pulteney Street between South Terrace and Greenhill Road is 60.
No, who knows?
What's the difference?
Roger in Winvar was the first person to call through, having heard the Paul McCartney music play. Morning to you, Roger.
G'day, guys. How you going?
Hey, Roger, you're in the running now to win tickets to see Paul McCartney in the Entertainment Centre. Have you tried to get tickets to this point?
Yes.
So they're hard to get hold of, aren't they?
Oh, you're not joking.
Were you online for
No,
long
no.
doing it, Roger, or were you on the phone? How'd you go about it?
I've been lying here in bed since you announced it about 7:20.
Oh,
my
good
finger
work.
on the green button, ready to go.
Well, Roger, you are now full and truly in the running to win those tickets. We'll announce the winner from Friday from our shortlist, and that person will be going along to see Paul McCartney at the Entertainment Centre. Now, we had some breaking news in the last half hour that came to us by way of the Transport Department, where the slated strike action for tomorrow afternoon by some employees from Torrens Connect, the tram drivers, has been called off. The trams will now run as usual. We've tried to get in touch with the union, haven't heard from them, but the Transport Minister, Tom Koutsantonis, has been good enough to join us. Minister, good morning. To what do we owe this resumption of normal service?
Well, the Torrens Connect have put a new offer to the union, and the union is now going to, in good faith, withdraw the strike action and put that new offer to their members. So they'll all vote on it now, and the government would encourage them all to support it, but that's a matter for them. So they're being offered 6.15% in the first year, then 4% every year after. So it's a very generous offer, and hopefully that will be enough to see the end of any industrial action going further.
As Minister, yeah, is it something that you get involved with personally yourself, or is it more like an arm's length thing where you've got or is it maybe the Industrial Relations Minister who takes carriage in situations like this?
Well, pardon the pun, but I'm just a passenger here because we don't actually operate the trains, or
Yeah,
the trams operate. So we're just basically the service provider. We give them the trams and the train line to use, and Torrens Connect run it, and the union represent their members. Now, this will all change, of course, when that comes back into public hands in 2025. So then, going forward, all the industrial action will be by me and the Industrial Relations Minister, which is a much better situation.
Yeah. So you're sort of like nationalising it in a way.
Oh, I wouldn't be that abrupt. But
Ben Chifley.
But yes,
you ever thought about buying Qantas?
Yeah.
Actually, because while we've got you, I don't know if you heard yesterday, there were some very forthright comments in The Australian yesterday from a government spokesman about the way Qantas has treated Adelaide with the, versus Qatar, which did a great job during COVID. Now, I thought those comments were totally, they were brilliant, totally agree with them. I don't know who made them, but is it the Malinowskis government's view that Qantas has dudded Adelaide a bit?
I wouldn't say dudded, because they did fly, that they are a big economic contributor to the state through our domestic flights. But There's over 100,000 South Australians a year that fly to North America, for example, and there are no direct flights out of Adelaide to North America. Adelaide can sustain direct international flights, as witnessed by Qatar when Singapore flying here and when Emirates are flying here. So there's a lot of capacity here, but South Australians have to travel interstate to hubs to go overseas unless you're flying Qatar. We'd like to see more direct flights out of Adelaide, so we would argue very strongly that we would want to see more flights coming out of Adelaide directly to international destinations. Good for us, good for tourism, good for our economy, good for exports. Hubbing out of other states like Western Australia, Victoria or New South Wales makes it very difficult to get to Adelaide. You imagine you're an international investor and you're flying from North America or Europe to Australia, and you land in Sydney, then it's another hour and a half to Adelaide. It can get quite taxing. So
and another grand.
And more money. So direct flights are much, much better for us, and that's why we'd like to see more of them.
Just before we let you go, Minister, what's your recent experience been with the time it takes for a new offer to the union making a determination about whether they accept it or not? Are you expecting to get some sort of resolution today, or will that be the coming days?
Oh, no, it'll be weeks, I think. So in good faith, there'll be no more industrial action, but they'll put it to the membership for a vote. If the members agree, that'll be the end of the matter. If they don't agree, they'll go back to the negotiating table, and hopefully no industrial action, but that's a matter for them and the workforce, but I'd like to see it resolved very, very quickly.
Well, then, like the spirit of goodwill will make its way to Greenhill Road to the AU's leadership too.
You'd hope so. You'd hope so, because I don't think anyone's winning out of that.
No, 100%. Tom Keats-Antonis, Minister for Transport, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks, guys.
15 minutes to 9. If you're a tram driver and you'd like to call us, what you've heard about the new details, or maybe you've received an email from the union this morning, you can stay totally anonymous, of course. We always offer that courtesy to any listener that wants to call us to talk about any issue, and certainly we respect any sensitivity. 8223 0000 or the Duttons text line, with a huge range of vehicles available on the Hills and Murray Bridge. Duttons can deliver right now. Let's check traffic. If you're tired of back pain, we'll try Kiesa, KIESER.com.au.
Getting busy in the usual spots this morning. Greenhill Road and Unley Road, also South Road at Cross Road, pretty sluggish. Works continuing at Bedford Park, fixing up the road damage from Elliot Burst Water Main, Sturt Road near the uni. And the show kicking off pretty soon, so look out for lots of people around Goodwood Road and Greenhill Road, and speeds going down to 25 too. Make tonight's Taco Tuesday even better with delicious pork mince. It's Maravilloso and all your Mexican favourites. Find easy recipes at pork.com.au and get some pork on your fork. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we, the Lynn Andrews team, have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easier for investors and tenants. Everyone is treated with empathy and respect. It's the way we do business. It's the Lynn Andrews way. For residential and commercial property management, we're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
When you build with Lamar Homes, you'd better start planning your housewarming, because it'll be here before you know it.
That's right. Lamar Homes have the advantage of moving a lot faster because they never take on too much work. That means they can manage their trades and delivery dates so much better, so it could be a matter of months before you move in, not years.
Plus, right now, when you build with Lamar Homes, they'll throw in a whopping $35,000 to spend on your concreting, landscaping and fencing, and those costs can really mount up, so having $35,000 to spend on your concreting, landscaping and fencing is sensational.
It's a massive saving. There's a few terms and conditions that apply. Visit lamarhomes.com.au. Lamar Homes, here today, home tomorrow, sooner.
It's Ian Healy, and I'm here to talk to you about back pain and Kiesa. If you're one of the 80% of Australians who suffer from back pain, it's tempting to do nothing, but this can cause weaknesses down the road. The best place to start with back pain is exercise, and the best place to exercise is Kiesa. Kiesa's physios and Swiss-designed strength training equipment help you build strength in a supervised environment. I go to Kiesa, and you can too, at our new clinic in Norwood. Book your initial assessment at kiesa.com.au.
G'day, it's Baz from Fleurieu Milk Company. South Australian dairy farmers are doing it tough right now, but at Fleurieu Milk we always look after our own, and you can too. When you reach for milk, reach for Fleurieu Milk and help support our hard-working South Australian dairy farmers and their families. Because right now, they need our help. 3 words make all the difference. Fleurieu Milk Company. South Australian first and proud of it.
1239 South Road, St Mary's. You'll want to remember that address. 1239 South Road, St Mary's, the new showroom of an Adelaide favourite, Bob Burns Blinds. Their gorgeous new showroom has a huge range of blinds, shutters and curtain materials on display. The team at Bob Burns Blinds can't wait to help you create a stunning new look for your home. It's a must-see. The Bob Burns Blinds new showroom at 1239 South Road, St Mary's. See you there.
Maxima, offering employment and disability support services. Break down the barriers of NDIS. Go to maxima.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
12 to 9 if you're watching on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. We know we've got some special guests in the studio with us ahead of the Lumery City Bay Fun Run that's on the 17th of September. It's a Sunday morning. You can register now at city-bay.org.au. For people that did before the early bird deadline, this is an exciting morning because you might be winning a brand new car. We'll give that away in just a moment. But first, we welcome to the studio Joe Stevens, the race director of the City Bay Fun Run. Joe, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will.
And Drew Ford from CMI Toyota. Drew, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are we?
Good to have you in here, Drew, one of your satisfied customers. I've been with CMI Toyota in my own capacity for many years now. And Joe, great to see you, mate. I know you had a rough couple of years with COVID, the old city debate.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
Apparently people exercising in the outdoors was some sort of health threat.
Yeah. Funny looking back, isn't it? How many people are you expecting in the race this year, Joe?
About 20,000.
Where does that rate historically?
The biggest was in our 40th year. We looked to have 40,000 for 40 years. So next year's our 50th year.
Wow.
So we hope to have 50,000 for 50 years.
Awesome. Wow. That'd be what capacity do you have? There must be a ceiling number on what you can do and everyone run safely and have a good time.
Well, we have rolling starts, so not everybody starts at the same time. So
I started halfway once.
It's amazing you even started.
I sauntered down and got a steak at the barbecue in later on. It took me about 8 hours. But it's a hugely important event beyond the fitness aspect and the, getting out and about and being mobile. But for a lot of charities, the City to Bay is actually a big driver of, you see people running in costumes, you see people holding photographs of loved ones who've died through different diseases or illnesses and what have you. It probably inadvertently generates thousands of dollars for charity, doesn't it?
Yeah, so over the 40-odd years, this 49th year, it's raised over $4 million for charity.
Wow, that's a lot of dough.
Yeah.
And how's life with you, Drew? All good? Selling plenty of cars?
Selling plenty of cars, yeah. So, it's just an insatiable appetite for cars at the moment. It's incredible. So,
how's it going with stock at the moment? Because it's been, we talk about COVID. A huge story the last couple of years has been, can you get cars into the country?
We struggled for a long time with stock, but now the boats are coming through. So a lot of cars arriving and trying to get customers happy, which is good.
Now, the car we're giving away today is a Yaris. Is that right?
It is,
so give us the 30-second sales spiel on the Yaris.
Yaris, it's a small hatch. It's a a 3-door? I think it's a 3-door automatic Yaris. It's a great little economic car around town. So
easy to park.
Easy to drive. Yeah. So
you're a City to Bay runner?
I am not. I'm a watcher.
You're a watcher, yeah.
I should do something about that.
You could do it in Yaris.
He's cooking the barbecue at the end.
I'll be on the grill.
Oh, beautiful. Well, that sounds magnificent.
It's fun. The end's fun. I did that one year when I was editing the Sunday Mail, because we had a bit to do, Joe, because Sunday Mail are a big sponsor when I was...
Still are.
Yeah, they're always involved, and they run the big list of who finished where and all of that.
Yeah, so
why do you think it's been so embraced by the public, Joe, over its history, the City Bay?
Well, it's an iconic event. So I think there's only 3 events that the council let shut down the streets of Adelaide. That's the Anzac Day pageant and City Bay.
Yeah. And Extinction Rebellion, of course. They seem to be allowed to do whatever the hell they want. We're going to announce the winner very shortly. In fact, I think we can now, because we think the winner might be having a bit of a sleep in this morning. The winner of the Yaris, this is super exciting, for the early bird draw, ironically, not up early, but in the early bird draw for the City Bay, having registered before the early bird deadline, comes to us from Glengarry. The winner is Rolf Schmidt. Rolf, if you're listening, call in. We want to give you your new car.
Drew's got the keys.
He's got the keys to give to you, Rolf.
Rolf. He's always been a bit
Wake up, Rolf.
Rolf might be out having a run, actually. We might be doing Rolf dirty. He might be, doing a half marathon. Exactly right.
Halfway to the bay.
Congratulations to you, Rolf. The Luramary City Bay Fun Run, Sunday, 17th of September. Choose your race, set your pace, and make it count. Register now, city-bay.org.au. Thank you, guys,
Great
for coming in. Really appreciate
Thank you,
it, guys.
gentlemen.
Thanks for the opportunity.
All right, let's check traffic thanks to Keezer. If you're tired of back pain, time to try Keezer, KIESER.com.au.
Getting busy in the usual spots this morning. Green Hill Road at Unley Road, sluggish South Road at Cross Road. Works continue at Bedford Park due to road damage from earlier burst water main Sturt Road near the Uni. And getting slow around Wavell for the show. Goodwood Road and Green Hill Road down to 25 k's. Camera, Port Road at West Hartmarsh. We're over $675 million in today's USA Power Lotto. Get more zeros in your life with Australia's own lotteryoffice.com.au. Hurry, draw closest within the hour. Adelaide's most accurate traffic guide, 5AA.
At WEA, we can teach you hundreds of things, or you can be the teacher. If you have a skill or passion you'd like to pass on, contact WEA. We'll even help you build your course. Visit wea-sa.com.au.
Are mild varicose veins making your legs feel achy, heavy and uncomfortable? Introducing Caruso's best-selling Veins Care formula, Caruso's Veins Clear. Caruso's Veins Clear relieves the uncomfortable symptoms associated with mild varicose veins, such as aching, heaviness, leg swelling and itchiness. It also maintains circulation to the legs and supports blood vessel health. Caruso's Veins Clear is made in Australia and is available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Now, when it comes to all things tools for tradies and for serious DIYers too, it's all in one place at Toolkit Depot.
Tools, equipment, safety gear and workwear, open 7 days and online. Plus, Toolkit Depot is celebrating the opening of a new store in Seaford on September 16.
Get exclusive deals on the day with free food and drinks, plus meet the excellent AFL player Rory Laird from 9am till 10am. On you, Rory.
That's going to be great. There's lots on offer, including Depot dollars. For every $250 you spend at Toolkit Depot Seaford on the day, you'll get $50 in gift cards to spend store-wide.
And remember, Toolkit Depot has a huge range of outdoor power equipment, including mowers, trimmers, chainsaws and more to kickstart your spring projects.
Check out the grand opening of another Toolkit Depot at 13 to 15 Seaford Road, Seaford Meadows on September 16. Toolkit Depot, everything you need to get the job done.
There's always something you can WEA. We have hundreds of courses available, from bookkeeping to balloon animals. It's a giraffe. Visit wea-sa.com.au to browse the course guide today.
Maxima, disability employment and support for NDIS participants. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
4 minutes to 9. It's time to go behind closed doors thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed
1395, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Richard Pascoe.
Welcome back to the program with Richard Pascoe, Adelaide Tech Guy, and we're talking to cosmetic surgeon Dr. Vivek Aranki. So, Doctor, Botox can also be used for medical purposes as well, can't it? Am I right there?
That is exactly correct. So Botox itself has a variety of uses. So whichever specialist needs that action to be done, they can use Botox effectively.
Okay, now Lily has called in with a question for you, Doctor. Lily, how are you today?
Good, thank you, Richard, and the plastic surgeon.
Lily, have we still got you there? No. Doctor, we've still got you, haven't we? Having a few technical problems at the moment. Of course, being Sunday, I'm the only person here, so there's no one here to fix these problems. Okay, we'll try to get Lily back. Doctor, so people can just make an appointment?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we do is patients book in for a consultation. There is no obligation for anyone to have a treatment. Our nurses are very happy to have a lengthy conversation with the patient so they understand exactly what the treatment entails.
Okay, now I think we've got Lily back. Lily, go ahead with your question for the doctor. No. It's lied to. That's where the problem is. Lied. See, once you find out where the problem is then finding out what the problem is. Are you there, Lily? No. Doctor, thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Richard. Have a great afternoon.
After the break, we'll be talking about the release of the new iPhone. Very exciting. It's iPhone 15, and the launch will be on September the 12th. It's very exciting, although when you're doing a talkback radio show, it doesn't matter what number it is. Mobile phones are an absolute pain in the ass.
That's one of those sort of enigmatic questions. Who does the Adelaide tech guy call when he's having technical problems?
Oh.
It's like, who shaves the barber?
Exactly. It's a philosophical question.
Be up all night thinking about that.
Yeah, I will be now.
Hey, our Breaking at 8 today featured Her Excellency, the excellent Governor Frances Adamson. She will be appearing on our show today. Not our show, on Matt's show, Matt Pantelis' show, at the show. From 10 a.m. down there in the Jubilee Pavilion. Jeez, we had a good time yesterday at the show. It was good fun.
And looked like Pants did, and Jade did as well. And, of course, they're going to be down there all this week, both of them. So if you're in the vicinity or you're planning to go to the show today, drop in and say hi. Pants and Jade over the course of the day will be
What
down
about
there.
Charlie, age 6? We did that soccer game. We paid $20 for 5 shots. So Sam had 2, Charlie had 2, Jim had 1. And Soph and I were just standing there going, come, boys.
Yep.
Jim missed. Sam went up. He missed his 2. Charlie went up. Ball on the spot. Went back. Like watching Messi. Straight in the hole.
Really?
Yeah.
What did he win?
A Barcelona soccer ball.
Fantastic.
It was like the high point of his life today. I think we, even above the din of all the rides inside Alley, you could hear the Penworthy family losing its mind. And Charlie!
What a legend. Future
Very good
Socceroo.
fun. Future Socceroo.
Good stuff.
Hopefully. Our meal ticket.
5AA News is coming up. Pants at the show next. We'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide.